How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, the Jason Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, playalberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. You get a $50 play, playalberta.ca. Of course, the OG of lotteries, Lotto 649. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. On the show today, we got lots to discuss. How about a $4 billion sale? My goodness, the pro sports landscape, not only in North America but globally, is just it's going bananas on the price point, selling of franchises. The owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, Mr. Dundon, has purchased the Portland Trailblazers. So now he's a two-sport owner. It's not necessarily as impressive as a two-sport athlete, but it's still pretty darn impressive. But $4 billion purchase by Mr. Dundon. So we'll talk about that. He obviously likes teams with black and red logos with a little bit of a swirl if you look at Portland and the Hurricanes. So we'll talk about that with Chip Alexander. Spec will be by. Chris Morris, of course, is on the Elks Wall of Honor. He is their president and CEO. He's going to join us in studio today at 5 o'clock to talk a lot of things green and gold, and also a new initiative for Elks fans. Something kind of like a mid-season celebration, really. This is going to be an annual event that they do leading up to the Labor Day rematch, which is always a Saturday now in Edmonton. So we'll talk to Chris about that and a host of other things. Adam Grossbard will be by. We'll talk a little L.A. Rams in our NFL preview. As I mentioned, Spec will be by. We got Jordan Baker. We're also going to touch on a little bit. Had an article today at OilersNation.com about the Edmonton Oilers and some impressive numbers from them, and how they're the only team in the NHL that has 4 defensemen who have scored 40 points at least once in the last 3 years. Bouchard did it every year. Ekholm, Wallman, Nurse each did it once. Colorado and Montreal have 3 defenders on their teams. Colorado now, of course, Devon Toews, Cale Makar, and Brent Burns, who has done it twice in the last 3 years. Montreal has Matheson, Dobson, and young Lane Hudson. There's 16 teams who have done it twice. 11 teams have one guy. And then Chicago and San Jose currently have no defenseman. As I mentioned, there's 56 defensemen, but only 53 are currently active. Tyson Barrie doesn't have a contract. Alex Pietrangelo is going to be on LTIR. His season is likely over. And Matt Grzelcyk, who scored 40 points last year with Pittsburgh, still unsigned as an unrestricted free agent. So I wonder if there's a team out there that might be looking for, you know what, hey, 40-point defensemen just don't grow on trees. And I know that, that's not his forte, but still, that's I'm kind of surprised that nobody has picked him up. But did you know that the Edmonton Oilers, you look at like a lot of their success comes from, they've got good puck moving defensemen. It's been something that started that they wanted to address it. You're either transporting the puck or you're moving the puck from your back end. And with Ekholm, Wallman, Nurse, and Bouchard together, that's a big advantage. Now, the thing is, the 4 of them really have never played together healthy. We know Ekholm came back for the Stanley Cup final, but I don't think he was 100% healthy at that point. Jake Wallman played 15 regular season games with the Oilers after being acquired. He was in. Ekholm was out at different times together. So I haven't played a bunch with all 4 of them in the lineup together. So I'm kind of curious to see how that will play out next season. I think when you've got D-men who can move the puck up, like think about this. The Edmonton Oilers, they have all the defensemen who last season alone at even strength, Bouchard was 6th in the NHL, Wallman's 22nd, Nurse was 23rd, Ekholm was 41st. So they had 4 of the top 41 defensemen in even strength scoring on their team. Now, I know that Wallman had some of those points with San Jose, but when he came to Edmonton, his point was virtually the same, right? He had 8 in 15 games. and only one on the power play. He'd had 25 even strength points in 50 games in San Jose. He had 7 in 15 games in Edmonton. Pretty similar. So I think that's a benefit for Edmonton. They move the puck. And the Oilers, number 1 in shots on goal last year as a team, but the shooting percentage was not good. They just didn't finish some of their chances. They were actually the number 1 team in the NHL at generating high danger shots on goal. 703 they had last year. And that's an important number. So remember that. They had 703 high danger shots, high danger scoring chances in 82 games. So that's 8.57 an average per game. And that was 23 more than any other team in the league. They created a lot of good looks. And with their emphasis on skill enhancement this year under Chris Knobloch, they've got Connor Halley, their skills coach. They're going to have some skills practices all about skill enhancement, just keeping it fresh. Try some new things, sure, but more so just keeping it fresh, working on little details. And a lot of times the difference between a good save and a goal is like 2 inches, right? You want to shoot it right over the pad. That's the area it's open, but you don't get it. You know, you're 2 inches down, you hit the top of the pad, looks like a good save. So the Oilers generating chances hasn't been an issue for many years now. They've been one of the best teams in the NHL at creating. Obviously, it comes McDavid and Draisaitl, but it also helps from their back end and how they move the puck and everybody overall. They create a lot of chances. They were, and this might surprise some people, but did you know the Edmonton Oilers were number 1 in the NHL last year in high danger shots allowed at only 526. So do that math. This is all regular season, so it was 6.4 high danger chances against per game, and they produced though 8.5. Like that was, they were still producing more than they were giving up, which is obviously a great thing to do for their team. You're spending a little bit of time, less time defending, which is obviously a very good thing. And so, you know, I wrote the article about the Oilers, and that's why, like, I think Edmonton's good. And I understand that they've lost the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row, but that doesn't mean they're not good. It just means, you know what, they didn't win. And it's hard to win. There's a variety of things that go into it. Health, a lucky bounce here or there. And sometimes you play a team that's hot. In Florida, especially this past year, they were hot. And think about it. It was a 2-2 series. It came down to a best of 3. Game 5 and Game 6. And if you look at Game 5 and Game 6, because some people say, well, Gregor, so you're telling me that the Oilers, they don't give up a lot. Well, obviously they need better goaltending. It's a fair comment, sure. But remember, the Oilers are not built to have their goalie be expected to be their main guy. Now, he'll save a game here or two. We saw that. He's done it in the playoffs before. But he's not paid like that. He's not skilled like that. That's not his role. All right. And so they don't spend a lot of money there, but they spend money elsewhere, and that enhances. They got really good offense. They got good team defense, and you get decent goaltending, and you go to the Stanley Cup final twice. And that's what happened. But in games 5 and 6, I wanted to mention the Oilers averaged 8.5 high danger chances per game. Do you know how many high danger chances they had in game 5 and 6 combined? 7. So they went from 8.5 per game down to 3.5. Right? So their offense wasn't at the level you'd expect. Goaltending. Would you have liked another save? 100%. Team defense. They allowed more chances than they usually do as well. So you had bad offense. Well, bad's probably maybe harsh, but not as good as normal. So below standards offense, below standard defense, below standard goaltending. And that's why you lose 2 games in the Stanley Cup final. Right? The regular season numbers are very impressive, but you can't just take that and then say, well, they should win because of it. Well, no, it's not. If it was that easy, then the best regular season team on all the metrics would win every year. And it doesn't ever work that way, right? There's lots of factors that go into it. The main point of the article for me is the Oilers are good. You should not be overly stressed. I expect that the regular season, you know, The concern about the regular season, I hate to say this, but it's true, is health. That's the real concern for the Oilers. Like, look at last year. What if Zach Hyman's healthy? Would it be in a different series? Potentially. So, we'll see. Maybe they win if he's healthy. I don't know. I think it would improve their odds, but it wouldn't guarantee it. And, Florida was just last year, like they had everybody rolling. Right? They had 8 guys with 18 points in the play. So many guys had like career years in the postseason. So that's hard to recapture. But that you only need it to happen one time and you'll win. And so, maybe that happens next year for the Oilers. We'll see. But they'll be in it. And their team, no other team has a quartet of puck movers and puck transporters like the Oilers. And Bouchard, Ekholm, Wallman, and Nurse. No team in the league. And I saw Travis Yost. He's going to join us on the show tomorrow. I wrote an article and he had defense tiers. Oilers defense in tier 1. We were talking tiers yesterday, Connor Halley, about quarterbacks. And and the reason why I got the idea from the article is because I read and I hear from people and like, geez, they're not that good. And I'm like, what do you mean they're not that good? What are you comparing it to? Because they lost to Florida? Okay, so they're the second best team in the NHL 2 years in a row. That's pretty darn good. Right? They're the best team in the West 2 years running. And they dominated the West last year. This past playoff run wasn't even close. Right? Vegas and Dallas, not even close. So there's lots of good things about them. And you look and say, can your goaltender make a few more saves? Yes. Can your offense create a little bit more? Because if you actually look at the numbers, the drop in those games 5 and 6 was way more on the offensive side than it was on the defensive side. The defense allowed 6.3 chances per game. In the Cup final, they allowed 7. So slightly higher, but not massively higher. But offensively, they went from creating 8.57 to creating only 3.5. That's a massive drop, right? Massive. Right? So you're spending more time defending. You're not in the offensive zone as often. You're not creating as many high danger chances. In theory, means you're probably having to defend more. That's how it works. So I look at the order, and it's a 2-game thing, and that's what's harsh about the playoffs. In a whole 82-game season, you're going to have a few bad games, but over the average, they get cleaned up. In a series, you have 1 or 2 bad games at the wrong time, and that can be the difference between winning and losing the series. And that is that's what makes it so heartbreaking, and that's what makes it so challenging to win. So we'll touch on that a little bit more today on the show. Also, if you're a Riverhawks fan, unfortunate end to the season last night. But what a great season by the Edmonton Riverhawks, both on and off the diamond. They're very competitive. They had the most wins in their division. Just lost a 1-gamer. They were up 2-1. Then they gave up 3 in the top of the 7th. And that was really good night, Irene. Ended up losing the game 5-2. And so that's unfortunate. They won't get to play in the league final tomorrow night, but it shouldn't damper on what was a very good season for them. They'll come back. They'll have a few players return, but in that league, you have a lot of new faces. But I'll say this about the job Steve Hogle and his team did off the field, generating excitement around the team, people wanting to get to the diamond. And it was a great crowd last night. Unfortunately, you had the rain delay. And when they came back from the rain delay, obviously some people had vacated the building because, there's lots of lightning around in the area. And so the game actually ended up from first pitch until the final pitch. It was a total like 4 hours and 12 minutes. Obviously, they didn't take that long to play the game because they had the stoppage in between. But either way, congratulations to the Riverhawks. I thought a fantastic season. And I know many ball people will be looking forward to next year already. So now that leaves the Elks and the Stingers. Stingers, of course, into Calgary for a playoff game tomorrow night. We'll talk to head coach Jordan Baker about that coming up later on this hour. And the Elks are at home on Friday. And got two pairs of tickets if you'd like to go. If you want to go to the game Friday night, great seats on the west side of the stadium. And they're actually under the underhang. So if it gets wet, you won't get wet. But weather looks all right now. So if you want to go to the game, just text in 833-401-1440. Text in Elks and your name. Elks and your name, and Connor will pick 2 winners to go to the game on Friday evening. The Blue Jays are back in action tonight. Another victory. Now, I'm not a math genius by any stretch of the imagination, Connor Halley, but I will say this. The Blue Jays are now 51-3 when they score 5 runs. 51-3. So, just score 5 runs. Almost doesn't really matter what your pitching does. Just score 5 runs. So they've scored 5 runs in 54 games this year, right? And they've played 120. Like, that's almost half their games. So that's pretty impressive.
Jays are a good team. No, I mean, that's a really impressive number, right? But I guess when you look around the league, that should be what you want to see. 5 runs in Major League Baseball. If you have a confident pitching rotation, that should be enough to get you through the games. And obviously, they're going to score more. They don't often just stop right at 5. But with the bats they have, and then the players that they have, brought in to close out games for the most part, I think it's pretty good statistic there. And I'd be curious what it looks like around the league with some of the other top teams, if that's kind of a common thread amongst those top teams. But yeah, it's an easy one. Just go there, score 5 runs, and you're probably going to have some success.
Yeah, well, it helps for sure. And and what about Mr. Varsho? Have you looked at his numbers this season? Look how many home runs he has in the limited games he's played. It's wild. Like, he's not really considered a home run hitter. But he has got 12 home runs, Connor Halley, in 32 games.
Not bad. Yeah. I mean, how healthy would he stay, or how would it be if he stayed healthy throughout the year? Would that continue? I mean, 12 and 32. I'm not going to try to do the math on that.
Oh, that's 60 home runs in 150 games.
A pro-rated season. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty impressive. And, they need that, right? Because Vlad's got 19. It's been, I think Addison Barger's been a very pleasant surprise. 18 and 96 games. But they need to get power from someone. If Dalton Varsho comes in and adds that down the stretch into the playoffs, like, what an addition that would be. I didn't know the number was that high, actually. So
no, I think a lot of people are just like, oh, yeah, he's got 12 home runs, forgetting that he's missed a lot of the season due to injury.
Yeah.
Like Vladdy Guerrero leads their team with 19. Like, it's funny. The 2 teams right now with the 2 best records in baseball aren't teams with a huge home run hitter. Look at the Milwaukee Brewers. Like, the Milwaukee Brewers are on fire right now. Since May 25th, they're 50 wins and 16 losses. In that time, they have gained, the Chicago Cubs have the 2nd best record in the NL, in the NL. Since May 27th, the Brewers have gained 14 games on them in the standings. 14. Like, they are killing it right now. And they're not blessed with the, they grind it out like the Jays. They've got one guy with 20 home runs. Yelich has 23, right? They only have 2 guys with more than 12 home runs, right? Their top 2 guys combined for 40 home runs, and then their next 3 have like 36. Like, they don't beat you with the long ball at all. And the Jays, they got 19, 18, 16, 12, 10. So, they're not big boppers by any stretch of the imagination either. But they do have a little bit more pop. And George Springer obviously hasn't played here for a bit. So, he was leading. Now he's been out for a while, so he's tied with 2nd with Barger, 1 behind Vladdy. And Guerrero has heated up since the All-Star break. But man, you look at the Jays and just their offense. One night it's Guerrero, then the next night it's Ernie Clement, who hit another home run last night, a 3-run shot. He had a huge home run the other game. Barger comes up with big hits all over the place. I mentioned Varsho, Bo Bichette. I think he leads Major League Baseball in hits right now. So they're getting contributions up and down their lineup. Some bullpen guys will come in and pitch great, and it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. And this tonight, because of the Cubs, who they have on the mound, this is a game that the Jays should win. So we'll see. But them and the Brewers going a little bit more small ball by the Brewers and the Jays, and we'll see is that sustainable in the postseason. Now, the one concern about the Jays is Their pitchers don't give up a ton of runs, but they give up a lot of home runs. So that is a concern, I would think, heading in to the postseason. So,
and Gregor, with the Brewers, like run differential, if you're a believer, plus 152. Next closest, the Cubbies 113 in their division. So, yeah, the Brewers can get the job done on both ends. Can put up runs, also can play defensively.
Quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk two sports. Owner next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
And now Edmonton Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The 8th annual Oilers Nation Open tees off Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. A Texas scramble with fellow golfers, sports fans, and maybe even a few local personalities. Great shots, cold drinks, and a great cause. Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by garlic cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's major public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring Tridem, tandem, and single axle trucks with cab and chassis, day cabs and tractors, digger derricks, hydrovacs, man lifts, pickers, and refuse compactors. Info at maauctions.com.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on the Ford you want. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca today.
Mental health affects us all. CMHA is working hard to erase the prejudice and empower those affected. Help us in our quest for a healthier Canada. Visit CMHA.ca today and choose to donate, volunteer, or both. Every action counts.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's next major public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major unreserved auction events include multiple auction lanes, selling a large selection of multipurpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
How's your summer so far? Are you zipping around in your new truck from Wolf GMC Buick? If not, you should be. GMC employee pricing continues through August on our entire 2025 GMC Sierras, including the Sierra HD lineup. But just August. Who knows what September brings? Costco members save an additional $1,200 on our 2025 Buick lineup and all our new GMC Terrain. We're here for a good time, not forever. Buy the new reliable vehicle and treat yourself. Employee pricing, 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendinitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
225. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely, wet Wednesday afternoon. A little precipitation supposed to dry up here later on in the week, which is good, as it's time to go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's, and right now you can get a Big Mac meal, only $9.99. Woo! Get the OG burgers at McDonald's, and the meal for under $10. It's a pretty great deal at McDonald's. As we talk NHL, but also a little NBA, as Chip Alexander from the Rally News and Observer in Carolina joins us. Chip, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Well, Chip, we'll get to the NHL stuff, but pretty big news. The owner of the Hurricanes is now also the owner of the Portland Trailblazers for a tidy sum of $4 billion.
Yeah, until 2018, he never owned any kind of major league franchise. And a lot was made of the fact when he bought the Hurricanes or became the majority owner, he was kind of stepping into new territory. Yes, he knew Mark Cuban in Dallas and had been to Mavericks games and had been to the Stars games, all those kind of things, but he had never really dipped his toe into sports ownership. And now all of a sudden he might have two of them. In addition to the other things he's been involved with, such as pickleball and Topgolf. So he's in his quote, I don't know if it's retirement or not. He certainly runs an investment firm in Dallas. So he's got a lot of irons in the fire right now.
Well, you look at Dundon when he came in, the first few years in Carolina, got criticized a little bit because, he didn't really want to spend big money on players, right? Like he said, hey, you know what? They never spent. Now that changed though, when Eric Tulsky took over. So I don't know if it was the owner or if it was just the delivery of it, but they obviously went big game hunting last year and did acquire Mikko Rantanen and offered him $14 million a season, but he didn't want to sign there. So they ended up having to trade him to Dallas, and away they go. And now they're still kind of searching for that superstar player again. They got a really good team. They just lack the superstar. Has Dundon kind of changed how he views, pro sports? Thinking, you know what, like, I might not want to, but I'm going to have to pay big money to get a superstar guy?
Well, a little bit, yeah. And going back a few years, when he first took over the ownership, he wasn't quite sure, what was the best way to approach it. He certainly had a lot of guys in his ears, a guy like Don Waddell, Ron Francis. Here's the way we usually do things. And he said in the early interview that it didn't take him long to realize if you want to win in the NHL, you got to spend to the cap. And so for many years, the Hurricanes were a budget type team. But once Carmana sold the team to Dundon, they became a spin to the cap team. But you're right. The one thing that's been missing is that superstar player. They thought they had him in Rantanen, and that didn't work out. They did get a good return in Logan Stankoven, who they think is going to be a really good player. But they tried with Jake Gensel. I guess if there's one change that Dundon has made is he was opposed to Reynolds at one time. He really did not want to use up assets or anything else to try to bring in a guy just to win the cup and maybe only have him for a few months, such as against. Somebody did change his approach on that. He once said he didn't want to do, to draft defensemen. So he's learned on the fly a little bit too, and changed his mind about the way to go about these things. And you're right, Eric Tulsky has certainly been a guy he's relied on ever since he's been the owner and now the general manager. And I think he listens to Tulsky a lot and really trusts his judgment.
Yeah, so he trusts his judgment. Obviously, they've got a mix of analytics and obviously they look at eye tests and everything. And hey, they built a really successful team in there. But the NBA it is pro sports, but it's very different. Smaller roster, ridiculous money that needs to be paid. And in the NBA, if you don't have two superstars, you virtually have no chance, right? Like you literally have no chance. There's nobody who wins without a superstar, if not two in the NBA. You just can't do it because they're on the floor so often. So as much as, you get to know pro sports in the NHL, the NBA, while it's pro sports, is still different in ways you kind of have to build your team.
Yeah, it's going to be a new education for him. I agree. And I think, one thing I know about Tom is he fully vetted everything before he got into this. I think he got burned, obviously, on the Alliance of American Football, if you remember that whole venture that he tried a few years back and didn't work out. And I think maybe he rushed into that one a little bit, but certainly he's not rushing into an NBA franchise. And but I will say today, it's been a slow kind of a news week here in Carolina, and certainly just It's nothing more than preseason football camps, college football camps, and the biggest name has obviously been Bill Belichick. And suddenly Tom Dundon said, "Wait a minute, what about me? And how about if I buy an NBA franchise? Will that gain everybody's attention?" And it quickly did today.
Yeah. Oh, no question about it. Now focusing on the Hurricanes, as we talk about them. They had another successful season. You go deep in the playoffs again, not as deep as they would like. And you look at their offseason and really kind of how they've changed a lot of their blue line here in the last two seasons. And, they remain a competitive team. They went out and, tried to get Rantanen and it didn't work, but it wasn't for lack of trying. Then they went out, Nikolai Ehlers, they went out and got him, I guess it's kind of Rantanen light, right? Instead of $14 million, you're paying him $8.5 million. But it seems to me, Chip, from afar, they still are they need a second line center. Because Kotkaniemi has yet to show that he's a second line center.
No, you're right. And certainly that's been talked about a lot here. And they keep hoping that the guy they call KK could, at one point, the light bulb will come on and he really becomes more productive. But they've been waiting, and they really haven't had a good second line center since Vincent Trocheck was here. They really need to do something there. And I think Eric Tulsky realizes that. Now, whether it's out there or not, or whether they can finagle a trade for that remains to be seen. But that's the one hole, going into the season. And still at the same time, the health of Freddie Anderson in net. And can they get him through an entire season and, reasonably healthy and get him into the playoffs and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's a tough situation for them. They're a good team. They've been in the playoffs 7 years in a row. They've done some things to improve the team, and yet they're looking up at the Florida Panthers, and they're just a cut above everybody right now, but certainly a cut above them in the East. And so it's kind of a catch-up mode. And even Rod Brindamore admitted that after the playoffs. But you're right. The one big hole in the lineup right now is second line center.
So what is it? Is it just they'll fill it in and then they'll wait, and we might see them take another big swing like they did with Rantanen, maybe not as big because there's not that many second line centers that are going to be on the level of Rantanen. But is that kind of your sense in talking to Tulsky that this will be something that they'll address before the trade deadline?
Well, it's certainly going to be addressed. And there's also been some talk that they might take a look at like a Seth Jarvis at center and or Logan Stankoven at center. So, I mean, they have some options there because they do have, they have like 13 really good NHL forwards, and they can switch a few guys around and maybe take a look at some different things. I think they will at camp. I don't know if Jarvis will be. I think they will take a look at Logan Stankoven in preseason camp. Now, whether that works out or not, and he's not the biggest guy in the world, and you're talking about centers like Sebastian Aho and then Logan Stankoven, who are both on the short side, obviously, as your top two guys. That's not ideal, but I think that is something they'll look at.
Is Ehlers with Svechnikov and Aho, is that a no-brainer that they're going to play together?
Well, I think it could be Ehlers, Aho, and Jarvis.
Okay.
Unless they switch Jarvis into a center role with Svechnikov on the second line. But, one thing about Svech is the guy they call Svech. Svechnikov has been kind of a hard guy to place on lines. For whatever reason, the chemistry just seems to have been hard for him wherever he plays. Obviously, he's a very talented player. He's a strong player. He does a lot of good things. But, they've tried him with Jordan Stahl. They've tried him with KK. They've tried him with Aho in a lot of different places. And if for some reason they'll have a good stretch of games, but they just can't find, the consistency they want to. But maybe this is the year, and maybe who knows? It could be maybe they put Stankoven as their second-line center with Svechnikov, and it clicks. But I think they like having Jarvis play with Aho on that top line. And Ehlers certainly would be the candidate to be on the left side on that line.
Chip Alexander joins us. Chip, what about on the back end? They made a pretty big splash. Keandre Miller comes in. Brett Burns, they're moving on from him. Kind of the ageless wonder. The guy never misses a game. It's unreal. But he had shown signs maybe at times of slowing down, at least in the style that they play, right? Like I do think that Carolina plays a different style than a lot of teams. And, so you wonder maybe that had something to do with it. But is Miller going to play with Jacob Slavin? And what about Nikishin and Chatfield? Like, how do you see this top four shaping up for Carolina next year?
It could be just exactly what you said. And certainly that'll be something that Brendan Moore will look at in camp. I think he'll try all kinds of different combinations. Certainly Nikishin is the guy I'm really interested in. I think, Miller is a proven guy. We've been seeing him in the East here for a few years now, know what he can do. Nikishin is still something of a question mark. Not many people that I know have seen a lot of KHL games. We got to see a glimpse of him in the playoffs, but you had to feel for the kid, coming in and getting thrust right into the playoffs, playing 4 games, big high-pressure games. But they certainly feel like that Nikishin Chatfield, that could be a 2. So maybe Slavin with Sean Walker, too. I mean, that might work out as well. So, which would put Gosh to Spear, in the third ring. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting look to the preseason. But you're right. It won't be quite the same without Burns there, who is the guy you obviously pencil into the lineup every night, and he played with Slavin. But at the same time, I think his best year with the Hurricanes was his first. He struggled in the second year and bounced back a little bit this year, but I think you're right. I mean, he's getting, he's pushing 40, so it's at the point where even he might be having to consider if he wants to retire something in the next year or two.
If you're Carolina, would they have any consideration of load management for Freddie Anderson? And, Caden Primo gets called up while he's resting here or there. Have they ever discussed that?
Well, I think you have to have some kind of load management for Freddie. I mean, he's had that knee problem, for the last 4 or 5 years, and certainly flares up from time to time. And you really had to feel for him a couple of years ago when he had the blood clotting issue, and that was a real concern that it might end his career. But he bounced back from that. He seems to bounce back well, and he seems to play well in the playoffs. But, last year I don't think there was a whole lot of concern because the team was well enough to get by without him from time to time, that he missed games last year just so he was healthy going into the playoffs. But once again, the same thing with Freddie. Freddie can play pretty well, but when you put him in a series against Bobrovsky or Vasilevsky, it just seemed like he's one sliver below those guys in terms of production, and that's been costly for the Hurricanes. Not to blame him for the losses in the playoffs, but certainly you need that elite goaltending in the playoffs. But you're right. I mean, he's at the age now, and certainly he'll be involved in the Olympics too, so he'll be gone for that part of that break, and there's going to be some load management for him for sure this year.
Yeah, I just think you have to. It's too much of a seen it, done it every year with Freddie Anderson that, just at times he can't stay healthy when it matters most for this team. And that's been like when you build your team in a way that you expect that one of your key guys to be there and he's not there all the time, it's just hard to be successful. And, the other thing we've known that they've kind of lacked that game breaker. Sebastian Aho is a really good player, but he's not in the elite game breaker category. And they swung big on Rantanen. And Chip, when you look back on that, what happened that, because lots of players love playing in Carolina. So what do you think it was that, Rantanen, was it just the shock of getting traded out of Colorado? Why he didn't want to? Because at least he was honest with him and said, I'm not going to re-sign here. So it's better to trade me. And I applaud Tulsky for doing it rather than just keeping him for the playoffs and losing him for nothing. So that part I think is good. But what have you been able to uncover why he didn't want to go to Carolina?
I just think he was never happy from the time he got here, and I think part of it was he wasn't going to be happy too many places after being traded by Colorado. I just think I kind of compared him during the season as the jilted lover who's going to be mad at the world for a while. It just seemed like he could never really get a real happy spot here in Carolina. And certainly he was friends with Aho and some players like that. And I think he felt comfortable in the room, but just his body language was never good as far as I could tell, watching him in the locker room and around the team and in the games. And he had some tough luck in games too. It seemed like everything was going wrong. Maybe he just didn't like it in Raleigh. And then he get in the game, he hit a post, hit another post, production wasn't there. And it just seemed like he was in a foul mood the whole time. I referred to him in a lot of stories as disgruntled, and I just think that was the way he was. And he just decided, I don't want to spend the next 7 or 8 years here. And I think probably when it's all said and done, Dallas is probably the right spot for him. And I know that the Hurricanes are excited to get Stankoven in here, so maybe it'll work out in the end for both sides.
Chip, as always, great to catch up with you, man. We'll let you get back to your off season. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.
Now, hey, one last thing. I don't think there's a direct flight from Portland to Carolina. Is that going to change, or what's going to happen there? I think we lost Chip. That's too bad. But I saw that online. They were talking about it. Well, maybe they'll have to start getting one. Although I'm not sure the owner's going to take it. I think he probably has his own private jet. If you're affording $4 billion to buy the team, you probably have your own jet. 2:41. When we return, we will get talking playoffs, baby. I know last night it ended for one team in Edmonton. We've got another one, playoffs tomorrow night. Talk about it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Edmonton Elks Country Night is back Friday, August 15th against Toronto. Presented by Coconut Cowboy Road, featuring the EE Bull Riding Competition, country music all night long, plus a petting zoo and pony rides for the kids. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to what'syourshare.ca.
Great news! Metal Supermarkets now offers convenient welding services for their customers. Simple Weld, steel, stainless, and aluminum welding. TIG, MIG, and stick are all available. TIG, MIG, and stick. Sounds like my old garage band with their kooky nicknames. Yeah, we were huge in Japan, but never really caught on here. Your loss, Edmonton. Metal Supermarkets, your local convenience stores for... and welding. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2:45. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having fantastic Wednesday, despite the rain. A little bit wet outside, but hey, that happens every now and then. It's what we need. It's time to get to our basketball report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long. LegacyHeating.ca. And we are talking playoffs in the CEBL, where tomorrow night the Edmonton Stingers will be in Calgary to take on the Surge. And the Stingers, probably a matchup they're pretty happy about. They've had a lot of success. I know regular season's different, but they should go in pretty confident group. The head coach, Jordan Baker, joins us once again. Coach, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. So, you played a lot, and you've coached now for a few years. I know that playoffs are new, but it's not like a team can totally revamp their identity come the playoffs. You've had success as a group against the Surge. Why do you think that is? Why have they been such a good matchup for your team?
I think some of the things that we try to preach in our locker room and preach in our practice court is, it's what they do really well and how they have success against other teams in the league. And it's, they want to play fast in transition. They want to turn you over, and they want to, create second chance opportunities. And for us, it's a priority in our locker room from day one to try to eliminate some of those things. And we've done a good job in a couple of matchups against the Surge, but, they're a relentless and athletic team. So we're going to need to be, even better to get a playoff win tomorrow night.
I know, Jordan, I remember talking to you in July, just before a meeting with him, and he said the key is, they like to get out in transition, right? And that's where they flourish. And you said, you know what, we stopped, and I think you won that game like 113-90 or something like that. It was pretty convincing victory. So, when you're setting up for this game, are you really drilling into all like the film of what you've done with them, or because you haven't faced them in over a month, have they changed at all in how they play since you last met them in early July?
They've had some personnel changes as what happens in our league. They've brought in a couple different guys. Their rotation's a little bit different, but for the most part, it's very similar to what we saw back in July. I think, we don't necessarily want to, reminisce on footage from then. We want to take a look at their recent handful of games, where are some areas we can be a little bit better, with an understanding, like I said, and as you mentioned, we want to try to be excellent in transition defense, force them to play 5-on-5. And, if it's a score in the 90s or 80s, I think that's probably where we want to be.
Looking at your team, for years, you really pride yourself. Hey, we're a team and we're built around lots of guys contribute. Well, this year you got the leading scorer in the league who set the league record for most points in 1 year, and you still promote as a team, coach, but it's unique having like a go-to guy, and having played the game for as long as you have, it's always great to have lots of guys contributing, but it is nice, isn't it, to have kind of a guy where you can almost, well, we know this guy's going to give us, probably 25 points a night.
Yeah, it's been great. Sean's been terrific for us all season long. And as teams start to realize, he's our engine offensively, they start to key on him. He sees multiple bodies, and he's done a great job of sharing it, and that opens up opportunities for other guys. We've had some secondary scorers, especially in the second half of the season, really step up when he's drawn extra attention. So it's not like he's shooting bad shots.
Yes.
His efficiency is off the charts. He's shooting, 50% from the field, 40 from three, and 90 from the foul line. So he's not shooting any bad ones. And he's taking what the defense has given him, which has been great for our offense.
Well, he's not only leading you in scoring and the whole league. He's got 116 assists, second on your team. He's second in turnovers. He's first in steals. Like, he's had an MVP for the league like season, not just for your team. And, obviously you hadn't coached him before. Now that you've had a whole season with him, what's impressed you most about Sean?
Yeah, I think his ability to pick up concepts. It's a summer league. We don't get a whole lot of practices. We're, traveling and playing a lot of games. So for us to be able to go through something and walk through it, for him to understand it and apply it from that point guard position, he's been a great extension of our coaching staff on the floor.
Jordan Baker, head coach of the Edmonton Stingers, joins us. So are you expecting them, is Calgary a team, will they double even more on Sean?
It'll be interesting to see. They've got a bunch of different lineup combinations that they can roll out. They'll certainly do some switching 1 through 5 that'll put a little bit of more size on him. They'll maybe look to trap a little bit. They've done a variety of things against talented guards in the league. So for us, it's just trying to be prepared as much as possible and put our team in a position where we can, take advantage of whatever coverage they're throwing at us.
Not only his scoring ability, I'm looking like he's second in the league in steals. that ability, what makes him like? Is it just quickness? Is it anticipation? What allows you to be a guy who's that good of a thief with the ball?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a nose for the ball, certainly. Teams are going to say, well, if he's going to guard a bigger player, we're going to try to post him up on the block. He's got humongous hands, which helps too, to be able to, deflect passes and get steals and knock passes away. So, he's done a great job. And that's something that, doesn't really necessarily come from us as a coaching staff. That's just his natural ability to make some plays for us defensively. And usually it leads to good things going down the other way as well.
And obviously you don't win just with one player. You got a lot of that. Scotty Lindsay's had himself a really good season. Nick Hornsby, you go down the list of your team. And so in the playoffs, though, in one game, Jordan, you've been there both as a player and as a coach. And there's certain guys that have had an ability to step up. Do you sense the guys on your team that you feel like, you know what, here's a guy that can rise to the occasion for us, not Sean, someone else?
I think if we want to win the basketball game, Nick has to be excellent for us. He has to be a guy that orchestrates things. And when they try to take the ball out of Sean's hands, he's got to be a guy that can facilitate and create looks for us offensively. And then defensively, he's got a tall task against Greg Brown III, who's an excellent player from Calgary. So I think Nick, he's been with us this is now his third season. So he understands the landscape. He understands the playoff structure, and we're expecting a big game from him tomorrow.
I was going to ask you about Brown. He's obviously their go-to guy in Calgary. How do you balance, do you say, hey, I got to trust my guys to go one-on-one, but at the same time, we'll double, how strategically, when do you want to double guys in your defense?
Not a ton.
Okay.
Anytime that you're putting two guys on the ball, that obviously opens up things on the weak side. And, he's an unselfish guy and he'll make the right play. So for us, it's more so, we want to be visible without overcommitting away from the basketball. So we're not going to, allow him to get one-on-one opportunities, certainly, at least not in theory. But we want to try to clog the paint, make his life difficult. Turn him into a passer, but not necessarily out of a straight double team. We want him to see multiple bodies and have him to have to make a play at high tempo and then make a tough read.
Who are you expecting to play defense against Miller more?
It's going to be by committee. It's not going to be just one guy task. We do a lot of guard to guard switching and we try to, throw multiple bodies at him. So, Mason's going to be there at times. Scotty's going to be there at times. Nick's going to be there depending on lineups and matchups. So we're going to try to keep as much size as possible on him, but with an understanding he's going to see lots of bodies over the course of the evening. And
do you feel pretty confident that you can, because I look at, the last two games, you're averaging, I think, against Calgary, 107 points or something. As good as they are offensively, are there areas you can exploit them defensively?
Yeah, I think every team, they work to take certain things away and they, in doing so, open up other opportunities. There's a reason why they're the lowest scoring, they're giving up the fewest points per game in the league, is they really, take pride on that end of the floor, especially in one-on-one situations. So for us, they're a high-tempo team. Can we execute offensively? Can we get deep into the shot clock and force them to have to defend, 18 to 22 seconds? And then get ourselves a good opportunity at the rim. So I think, they're an excellent defensive team, certainly. But, we've got to make sure we take care of the basketball and get as many, looks at the rim without turning the ball over as we can.
There's no doubt that this year, the top three teams all are in the West, Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton. And it's funny, Jordan, Vancouver kind of had your number. You had Calgary's number. Calgary had Vancouver's number. Any idea why?
It comes down to matchups. There was some challenging travel and trips in there as well. It helps that, we haven't actually played in Calgary this year. We had the neutral site game in Red Deer and then we had them at our place twice. So it's a lot of factors, but now it comes down to, single elimination and needing to take care of business, one game. And then, you look to the next one once that one's done. So anything could happen tomorrow night, certainly.
Well, Jordan, best of luck. We'll be tuning in. Looking forward to it. Playoffs is always awesome. So travel safe and best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Jordan Baker, head coach for the Stingers. They are on the road in Calgary tomorrow. So it's funny. The top three records that right here in the West. Vancouver 19-5, Calgary 17-7, Edmonton at 15-5. And Edmonton had a slow start to the season. They've been one of the best teams really over the last 2.5 months in the CEBL. Niagara, who had got off red hot, man, they just limp into the playoffs. They've lost 5 in a row. They're still in first place just because there really hasn't been that many competitive teams. In the East teams just haven't been as good this year. And so, it's a tough matchup. And if you can get in, though, this weekend for the Stingers, get by the Surge on tomorrow night, then you know what? Who knows what can happen? Maybe find themselves in the final. Should be fun. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Elevate your game with 01 Hockeyology. Weekly themes, real-life drills, personalized plans to push every player further and get them ready for the upcoming hockey season. Sign up now, 01, that's ZERONE.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Another busy day in the majors. Jays taking on the Cubs once again just after 5 o'clock. Kevin Gausman gets the call for the Bluebirds. Elsewhere, you got the Brewers beating up on the Pirates 12-5 in the 8th. Nationals and Royals tied at 7 apiece in the 9th. And in the bottom of the 4th, Giants trail the Padres 7-0. Later on this afternoon, Mariners taking on the Orioles. Guardians host the Marlins. Twins in New York to take on the Yankees, and the Rays up against the Athletics. Over at the Palinka Gretzky Cup, Canada once again victorious today over host Czechia 5-0. You also had Sweden over Slovakia 7-0. United States dropping Germany 8-1, and Finland falling to Switzerland 4-3. WNBA action later on today. Sun taking on the Sky. You got the Valkyries and Mystics. Aces host the Liberty, and the Dream take on the Storm. From the CFL, Montreal Alouettes quarterback without Bethel Thompson being placed on the 6-game IL. With that, the team signing Cameron Dukes. Dukes appeared in 10 games last season with the Argos, throwing for over 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills and running back James Cook agreed to a 4-year, $48 million deal worth $30 million guaranteed. The 2-time Pro Bowler was the Bills' second-round selection in the 2022 draft. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll continue our look around the NFL with Aaron Rosslad as we talk some LA Rams, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
It's the Brick's Great Canadian Staycation Sale. Score hot summer savings like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and free local delivery on outdoor furniture purchases of $4.99 or more. Save 60% off genuine leather and reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Plus, save up to 20% off dining and bedroom furniture. Get up to $400 off big screen TVs and buy more, save more. Up to $1,000 off select major appliances. The Brick, saving you more.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440.
Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win 10 grand with a hole-in-one. Plus, great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The Hole-in-One Challenge. Open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to what'syourshare.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
No, I turned wrong. Left your heart on. Is that what devils do?
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, Wednesday afternoon, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Give a thumbs up for the deck man on YouTube if you're there. We'd appreciate it. And you'll probably appreciate the fact that, hey, $70 million. No one won last night. Maybe didn't play. Good for you. Still in the game for a lot of max on Friday and 10 max millions. And tonight, the OG of lotteries, Lotto 649. 38 million in the gold ball jackpot and the classic jackpot of 5 mil. So lots of opportunities to get yourself on the first step to becoming the next Tom Dundon. You never know. Dare a dream. That's playalberta.ca. We have lots and lots of text to get to. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, interesting points in the first hour about the Oilers and their blue line. I never thought they were that good. Thanks for that. I've probably been one who has been worrying more than I should from Frank. Well, hey, you know what? I understand. I think it's, I don't know if, I can't speak for yourself, but I don't know if fans are worried. Like, the Oilers are good. Like, and by the way, there's no guarantee they can get back to the cup. Like, it's hard, right? Like, it's interesting. Like, getting to the Stanley Cup final, it's almost like because they didn't win, people look at it like a failure. And I would disagree with that. It's hard. That's what makes it so worthwhile when you win. I get it. It's crushing for fans and it's crushing for the players when they lose. No doubt. But it's still a major accomplishment. Like, you have to play really good just to get to the Cup final. 2 years in a row, like, they're 6-0 against the West. The Oilers are, without question in my mind, the best team in the Western Conference. I don't see how I can argue it. What is there? Wow, this has to be better. You don't think the other Western teams can say this has to be better too? Like, that's the point I don't get. Well, the Oilers, they need better goaltending. Okay. Do they need better or more consistent goaltending? because when their goaltending's consistent, they're good, right? And I don't think they need great goaltending because they're a pretty good defensive team. And really, think about it. The series was 2-2. It was a best of 3. And games 5 and 6, they didn't have it. Offensively, defensively, goaltending, nothing. They just didn't have it. Now, why? I don't know. And that's what's hard. But you kind of pick a bad time to have 2 games where you don't play as well as you would like. You got to give Florida credit. Florida played really well. They did. And, when the Oilers win, the team they beat will be like, yeah, okay, Edmonton was good, but geez, we don't think we played well. They're going to, because maybe they made too many mistakes, right? Maybe they had a bad giveaway. Like, there's lots of factors that go into it. It's not, and sometimes you can play well and lose. But I think the Oilers would look and say game 5 and 6, we didn't love our game. We could play better than we did in games 5 and 6. And will it be motivation? Probably. And the hard part about it is that you can't really impact it until like next June. You got to get all the way back to that cup final. And it is a long grind, but the regular season does matter. And if the Oilers can find a way now, I know they breezed through Vegas and Dallas last year on the road, so they don't need to have home ice advantage. But when you look at the averages, it's a benefit. So that's something to strive for. It's something they haven't been able to do forever, but it is something to strive for to win the division, which hasn't happened in an incredibly long time. Longest in the NHL, actually longest in NHL history. In fact, since 1987, the last time the Oilers won their division in the regular season. Obviously, a year they won the cup. Even when they won in 88, they didn't actually finish first that year. Calgary did. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, can you repeat your numbers? I don't think I heard it right. I thought you said the Oilers allowed the fewest high-danger chances. Was that correct? It was correct. Peter, 526 last year. Fewest. Now, that's regular season. So, and we outlined it. In the regular season, the Oilers created 703 high-danger chances, which is the most in the NHL. That was an average of 8.574 for chances for, I should say, and then 6.3-ish against. So very solid. And that was the reason why, like when they were shutting out Vegas, it wasn't because their goalie had to stand on his head. They played well. You got to make a few saves, don't get me wrong. But they didn't give up very much. And when they're playing well, that's what they do. And then even if you go back and you look at games 1 through games 4, the scoring chances for and against were pretty even. And the series was even. It was 2-2. And remember, Edmonton won game 4 in overtime. And what a comeback. And you're like, okay. But they couldn't close out, unfortunately, in game 5 and 6. And nothing went well for them. They looked, I don't know if it was mentally tired, physically tired. I don't know. Did skating those few days in between games while Florida wasn't skating, did that impact the result? We'll never know. We can speculate for sure, but none of us will fully know. I would say this. I'm going to guess they won't do it again. Right? You probably won't. Like, why would you? That wouldn't make a ton of sense, right? So, we'll see where it goes from here. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, have to say, went to the Riverhawks about 6 times this year. Absolutely loved it. Went to the Elks game. I know some people feel like it's one or the other. For me, it's both. It's just great having options, and they're very different than the Oilers, which I get to about 4 or 5 games a year. But I have to say, the Riverhawks, I don't even know if I can name many players, but I really enjoy the atmosphere. And you know what? That, I think your last line, if I sent that to Steve Hogle and Randy Gregg from the Riverhawks, they'd be like, awesome. Like, because their league, it's different than the NHL. Like, Think about it. Oiler fans, McDavid, he's been here since 2015. Nugent Hopkins been here since 2011. Nurse since 2015. Draisaitl since 2015. So, you can get used to players very intimately as a fan. Riverhawks, it's different. You're cheering for the team because that league is built that, players leave and then they go to higher minor ball. They go to college. They're not coming back. The odd few do, but not many. That's just how the league is. So there's a lot of recruiting, and making it a great place to play helps in the recruiting. Like, the fans take a bow. Showing up as often as you had. Edmonton now has a reputation. Like, they draw more fans than anybody in the league 2 years running. So you're a young player, and if few teams offer you, you're like, okay, I could go play here. I can go play here. Because it's not about money. It's just about environment and enjoyment. And everybody who plays will enjoy playing. Would you rather play in front of 2,000 people or 7,500 people? We all know the answer. The atmosphere is louder. Everybody's a little bit more juiced up. It's going to be great. So I don't think there's any debate over what you want there. It's fun. Hey, Greg's, I'm curious. I heard you guys talk about this earlier. Did you see Dana White say he's going to increase payments to the fighters? Yeah, you know what? How much? Like, I'm sorry. I don't put any real belief that Dana White is suddenly going to start paying fighters in the UFC what they deserve. Why would he? He never has up to this point. Not even close. Like, not even remotely close. So, yeah, I saw the comments, but do I believe that it's really going to change? Like, you're going to see some guys who get more than they did before. Great, but proportionally, is it going to be any better? So that's where, to me, that's going to be one of those classic cases. Oh, guy used to make $250 a fight. Now he's making $500K, for argument's sake. Oh, look, he doubled. Okay, great. Go look at what the TV deal was prior and beforehand. So that's to me, like, and I've said it, the UFC fighters, it's unfortunate, but they get, I know people say, well, boxing doesn't have a union. Boxing, look at what boxers make. Compare the two. Why do you think Conor McGregor went and took some boxing fights? Look at his payday. And he was one of the highest guys in UFC. But we're just talking comparatively for how much the percentage of what they get compared to even NHL, NFL, all of them, their percentage of the pie is infinitely higher than UFC fighters. Infinitely. So, well, I'm not putting in a lot of stock. I hope I'm wrong for the fighter's sake, but I'm not putting a lot of stock. Connor, are you?
I think it'd probably be one of those things, like you said, kind of see it or believe it when I see it. It's easy to say those things, but then when you start to write those checks, and we know they simply can't afford it, there's just greed in the business, and they want to continue to do what they've been doing and continue to have those profits. So I think, when it happens, we'll start to believe it just a little bit more, but I see no reason why they shouldn't be. I mean, these people are driving your business. They're who the fans come to watch. They pay the money, the big money for the pay-per-views.
They've never done it. So why? To me, it's wishful thinking to think all of a sudden the Dana White and them are like, oh, you know what? We got more money. So now we're going to give you we're going to make it fair for you. Like, they never have to this point. So why would they suddenly start? I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what I said. Like, I'll believe it when it happens.
It's not happening. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. The only way it's going to happen is if they come up with a fighters association. It's the only way it'll happen. And I know there's the big court case right now, and the fighters, what do they get in that one? $375 million. But people, everybody who looks at it might have been 374. I don't know, round up. But everybody who looks at it still says, well, UFC, that's a win, because the fighters were looking for over $1 billion. And I say, when I say settle, I know for the average listener, like, that's still a lot of money. Right now, that's split up for all the defendants, and everybody gets a different percentage. But it's based on what the parent company in UFC is taking home comparatively. Look at the major sports. And when people, the association doesn't work, I would argue. Talk to players before there was an association in the NHL, and then talk to them afterwards about the differences. It's night and day. So, unfortunately, I don't believe it. Hey guys, my hot take is Dana White's worse than Don King and Vince McMahon. Oof. Well, the accusations against Vince do not look good. So from a human element, although Dana White, was on videos smacking his wife, which obviously isn't good either. So, it's kind of a low bar that you're setting right there, but I don't love it. 3:15. Quick break. When we return, and by the way, congrats to Louis. He won one of the tickets. Con's going to pick the other winner here momentarily. And did you get the other winner, Cons? I did. Yeah. Andrew. Oh, Andrew. All right. So Andrew and Lou. Andrew, you got about 20 minutes. We'll give someone else. 833-401-1440. We'll return our tour around the NFL next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of cooling advice does Nuge have today?
An air conditioner works by blowing air across the cold evaporator coil where the heat is absorbed into the refrigerant. I actually don't know what that means. Kind of like Zach Hyman with goaltender interference. Sorry, Zach.
Well, you got me there. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
The Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The 8th annual Oilers Nation Open tees off Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. A Texas scramble with fellow golfers, sports fans, and maybe even a few local personalities. Great shots, cold drinks, and a great cause. Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood, oodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood. Troll low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
What's better than a family reunion? Getting the family discount. At Nisku Ford, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family. And we believe our family deserves the very best.
That's why our legendary employee pricing is back. This August, get the Ford you want at the price you deserve with exclusive deals reserved for our closest kin. It's our way of saying, welcome home.
The coffee's on. Drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Are you relying on credit cards to make ends meet? Are you making just the minimum payment and carrying a balance month after month? It's time to break free from the debt spiral and take control of your finances. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. During a free consultation, I can explain all your debt relief options and stop your credit card bills from piling up. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will
Float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Edmonton Elks Country Night is back Friday, August 15th against Toronto. Presented by Coconut Cowboy Road, featuring the EE Bull Riding Competition, country music all night long, plus a petting zoo and pony rides for the kids. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor Special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu priced order when you enter promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or in the Papa John's app.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.322 as we roll through Wednesday afternoon. Happy hump day, getting you over that hump midweek. Now it's downhill from here, baby. Thursday and then Friday, and boom, weekend is here. Nice. Maybe some of you taking some holidays late in August. Perfect little setup for that. Enjoy it. 833-401-1440. You can always text us in our inbox. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, Alberta's most diversified electrical contractor. Project service tag energy for divisions in projects. They design, build, switchgear replacements, new construction, and renovations. They do it all at actionelectrical.net. And we continue our NFL previews. Today we stop in LA to talk a little Rams as Adam Grossbard joins us, beat reporter for the LA Rams. And Adam, I guess first time in, really forever since, at least since he joined the NFL, that there'll be no Cooper Kupp in LA. A little different, but man, when you got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, it kind of softens the blow of that departure, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. Like, Devontae just does some things that the Rams really needed out of the offense last year. They needed someone who could convert in the red zones, create some separation downfield. And the Rams were very happy with this upgrade and with the experience so far with Devontae Adams. He's been a great mentor to the receivers, Nacua himself. Puka actually ended up Puka to lead all the drills at camp, and Puka asked if Devontae would, because Puka was realizing he was rushing through his drills just so he could turn around and watch Devontae run his route. So Rams are already picking Devontae's brain as much as they can, and they're pretty happy with that receiver room.
Well, yeah, you throw in those two, then you throw in, they locked up Kyron Williams to a new contract. Matthew Stafford, we had Mr. Sando on yesterday, and with all the GM coaches, they had Stafford actually as tier 1 quarterback still. They had him coming in at number 5. So on paper with Williams and Nacua and Adams and Atwell and, even Tyler Higbee's a serviceable tight end, like scoring points shouldn't be a problem as long as the offensive line is good. What's your thoughts on the O-line in LA?
I think at first it was kind of hard to tell at camp. Like, it looked like the O-line, especially missing Alec Jackson as he deals with blood clots at left tackle. It looked like they were just getting beat a lot by the Rams front. And obviously the Rams front is very talented, but sometimes when you watch the same thing over and over again, you're kind of like, is the Rams front really good, or is the offensive line struggling? But that when you saw the Rams go up against the Cowboys in joint practice last week, that offensive line really held up and kept the Dallas pass rush, albeit without Micah Parsons, at bay. And that has given the Rams offense a lot of confidence. They felt really good coming out of that joint practice. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo and playing in Stafford's place looked really good in that session too. He's connecting with Devontae and Puka for touchdowns and just keeping the offense moving all day. So between that and Kyron, as you said, with that line blocking ahead of him, like they feel like this can be a pretty potent offense this year.
Joined by Adam Grossbart here on the Jason Gregor Show, Rams beat reporter with the LA Daily News and OC Register. Adam, you touched a little bit about Matthew Stafford, and there has been some reports on his back and, you know, when he's going to be ready to go. Is that just kind of big news because not much else is happening, or is there more to it?
I don't know. I don't have any, you know, information to share beyond what's been reported about his back, but just reading the tea leaves with what Sean McVay said this week. Sean McVay is very careful in the words that he uses. And prior to this week, he had been very, you know, happy to say we're not concerned about this. Happy to say if this were a game week, Matthew would be playing. And on Monday, when Matthew was supposed to practice but didn't, Sean changed the tune a little bit. And he was he couldn't say definitively if Matthew would play if there were a game this Sunday, and he wasn't sure. He didn't want to say, like, I'm not concerned. He kind of sidestepped the question when asked if he still wasn't, because they know this is really a day-to-day thing, and backs are very fragile things, and they can be very difficult to, like, get a full recovery in the course of a football season from back injury. So we just don't know right now is the answer, but I do think it is notable that Sean McVay has been a lot more cautious with his wording this week compared to previously.
You talked a little bit about the offensive line, and I mean, I don't know if there's a better front seven they could go up against to really test themselves with Braden Fisk, what he did last year at Jared Verse. At two rookies, they bring in Puna Ford. As a group, how has the front seven looked going into the season here?
Hey, look. So, like last year, we knew there was a lot of talent at this time last year, but they hadn't really figured out how to play next to each other. But that core four, Jared Verse and Byron Young and Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner really know how to play off of each other now. They're really good at seeing a play call and knowing whose opportunity it is based off of the blocking that they're getting. They're very good at working games within quiz stunts, things like that, to play off of each other. And they have been really successful so far. They too had a great joint practice last week. They are talking about the chemistry that they have as a group. And then you're starting to see young guys like Josiah Stewart having pretty good preseasons and training camps as they're starting to come along. And that's going to be really important for them as they try to replace Michael Hoyt, who was a really important fifth part of that pass rush last year. They're still trying to figure out where that production is going to come from. They think Byron Young could be poised for a big third year in the league, but they also need rookies like Josiah Stewart or second-year player Brennan Jackson to provide a little extra push there.
Adam Grossbart joins us, a beat reporter for the LA Rams. And the Rams didn't have a first-round selection in the draft this year, but their first pick was Terrence Ferguson, the tight end out of Oregon. And I mentioned Higbee, and you look at this offense. Do you see Ferguson pushing Higbee at all to be the number one tight end?
Not early in the year. Tyler Higbee is, part of the. I think he was here a year before McVay. He's been around for a long time, and you could really see the difference in the offense when he came back from his knee injury in late November last year. Offense started to convert in the red zone. They were able to pick up more third and fourth downs. Sean views Higbee as the heart of that offense, and I don't think that's going to change, especially early in the year, especially because Terrence has been limited. He's been rehabbing for the last week or so after during his 2 weeks now. I'm kind of losing track of time, as camp into the end of the first month. But he injured his groin. He's missed some time. He's just progressed to running routes against air. So we're still kind of getting there with him. I think he will have a role as the year goes on. I think early in camp, that was kind of the biggest question among people who worked for the team was like, is Terrence ready to take on a role as a rookie? Still remains to be seen. It's a very deep tight end room. I think you're going to see all four of those guys, Davis Allen and Colby Parkinson, in addition to Higbee and Ferguson working in. And, that it's going to take some time, but Ferguson does some things that those other guys don't. He's really good at finding space. He's really good at converting on third and fourth down. There's going to be a role for him at some point, but Tyler Higbee isn't going away just yet.
Looking at their draft class, do you see any of guys who might be impact or even regulars for maybe not impact, but more regulars at all for LA?
It's not like the last 2 years. The last 2 years, they had such clear needs.
Right.
I would say you could see maybe, I don't know, because they kind of addressed linebacker. Like Poop Paul would be one who might be, but Nate Landman has had a really good role. I think you'll see Josiah Stewart kind of in he'll have a rotational role at outside linebacker.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that we're going to see like a big boom from this draft class the way that you've seen the last 2-3 years for this team.
Looking at the LA Rams with Adam Grosbert of the LA Daily News. Now, Adam, I just want to ask you about offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, because going back and look at the history under Sean McVay, he had his Matt LaFleur, who's now the head coach in Green Bay, Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Vikings, Liam Cohen, after a year in Tampa, now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Are we in line to see Mike LaFleur to be the next one to find a head coaching job in the NFL?
I don't know. That'll be interesting. I think it's definitely his ambition. I think he has had a bigger role in the Rams' success the last 2 years than I think a lot of people give him credit for. He took on a bigger role in working on with the offense last year. Obviously, Sean McVay is still very heavily involved, but McVay made a point to delegate a little bit more last year. He felt with a younger team, he needed to be around the facility, spending time with the players so that he was able to connect with them better. And that meant, a little bit more influence from Michael LaFleur on game plans and installs and things like that. So I do think, he isn't necessarily getting the credit that he deserves for the job he's done. I think we could see him start to get interviews this year. I think you could say the same thing about defensive coordinator Chris Shula, who really accelerated the growth of the Rams defense last year past really any preseason expectation for how such a young group was going to perform after losing Aaron Donald. So I think you could see both of those guys. And then assistant head coach and defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant has taken on a really big role also with the team in terms of helping McVay kind of plan out his weeks, his seasons, how he's going to connect and talk with the team. Those three guys have had a really big influence on the Rams the last few years.
Adam, last one from me here. Just want to ask you, last season we know they finished first in the division with a 10-7 record. I bet money that you're going to need more than 10 wins to win the division this season. So is it as simple as staying healthy for the Rams, or is there more to it to ensure that they can find a way to do it back-to-back years and win the NFC West?
Healthy is going to be a big part of it. The pass rush is going to have the same or increased levels of success compared to last year, just because, that secondary is still, while solid, not spectacular. And so you're going to need to win a lot up front for you to get offenses off the field. But I do think, the way the schedule sets up, that San Francisco is supposed to have the easiest schedule in the NFL. We'll see what that means for them. In terms of, do they pick up some extra wins with a lot of new pieces all over the place? But the Rams, the division this year plays the NFC South and the AFC South, which presents a lot of opportunities for both teams to get wins, for all four teams to get wins. And so we'll see kind of how it all shakes out.
Is there any concern about the health of the quarterback, Mr. Stafford?
I mean, there has to be, right? Like, even with a better backup situation than they've had in years past, Jimmy Garoppolo is not Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, on a good day, you can argue is the best quarterback in the NFC. And So yeah, like there's going to be a drop off if Jimmy is the starter. That's just the reality. I think the question is just if Stafford has to miss time, and it feels like he has another setback. Week 1 is starting to feel a lot more up in the air than it did a couple days ago. And so I just don't. How much time does he have to miss? And we'll have to see. But there's just a lot of uncertainty there right now.
Well, it'll be an interesting season. Who do you think is the toughest competition for the division title for the Rams this year? Who's going to give them the biggest push?
I think it's San Francisco. Coaching is number 1. Schedule is number 2. Seattle kind of like took a stick of dynamite to a 10-win team last year. Kind of hard to tell what they're going to be, especially without substantial improvements to that offensive line. Arizona, I'll believe it when I see it in terms of them putting together a full 17-game season. So I would say, San Francisco is probably right there neck and neck with the Rams again this year.
Awesome stuff, man. We really appreciate your time. Enjoy the final few weeks of the preseason.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. That is Adam Grossbard joining us from LA, the Rams. Cons, you pretty confident in picking them to win that division? Because I'll say this about the NFL. There's always lots of changes every year.
You know what? It's going to come up in 5 questions. I'll say simple. No, I'm not confident in the Rams to win the division.
Ooh.
Stafford's back worries me. And
100%.
Adam talked about it. Like McVay's kind of choosing his words wisely. And even if he is good to go for the regular season, these guys hit hard. And he's 37 years old. You don't heal quite as quick as you used to. So I think that's going to be something to watch out all season long. And then if he does go down, hoping he doesn't, want him to stay healthy, Jimmy Garoppolo. Is that the guy you're going to put all your eggs in his basket to go forward with? I don't think so. So I'm not confident. But if they stay healthy, then there's a pretty good chance, I'd say.
Okay. Quick break. We'll return. We got Cam Tate joining us for the 2-minute warning. Lots of text to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Some people wake up and get dressed for work in a suit and tie or a nice dress. At GS Construction, we're less fashion forward and more putting our best foot forward. We wear hard hats and steel toe boots, and most importantly, we wear 50 years of experience with pride. It's not glamorous, it's definitely not easy, but it matters. We do it well. So if you'd like to be part of something where your work matters, GS Construction is hiring. Just remember, when you come for an interview, ditch the tie. See more at gsconstruction.ca.
New crust alert at Papa John's.
just
Your
don't trust
favorite
that.
cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
If you're an experienced RV salesperson, you have to be concerned about the state of the industry right now. With so much uncertainty, companies are downsizing their sales teams, especially at new RV stores. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Nobody knows what the future holds. But here at Noble RV, we're hiring. And we're looking for a very particular kind of RV salesperson. Of course, experience with used RVs is always an asset here.
This role requires a good sense of what the used RV owner needs, how to help them solve problems, and enjoy more of the great outdoors.
You got it, Bob. It's technically a sales position, but with none of the rat race you deal with now. You'd be more of a problem solver, helping RV owners with their ongoing experience. Someone with a few miles on the odometer is the ideal candidate. If you're ready for an exciting new career at Alberta's biggest used RV store, come find me, because there's a future for you here with us.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Early morning yesterday, I was up before the
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.342. Practice like you play is something that they always say, and the Elks were doing that today. It was rainy outside, still stayed outdoors. Now the rain was off and on, intermittent. Into now I guess I wasn't at practice, so maybe but at our place it was on and it kind of tailed off for a bit. But I think it's smart. You got to get used to practicing in the rain if you're going to play in the rain at some point. So I don't mind doing that. You know what? Today is Wednesday. The game's Friday, so wasn't even yesterday would have been the pad, like the heavy hitting day. So I think it's probably smart to do it today. You're kind of running through things and getting things done. Just getting guys, if they're running some routes and everything like that, just getting used to the footing just in case. That's always a key for sure. So I don't mind that at all. I think it's pretty wise. The old adage is, as I'm sure some of you have said this as a parent, you're not made of sugar. You're not going to dissolve. You'll be all right. God, I used some dadisms on my son last week, and afterwards I sat down and just kind of started chuckling. I'm like you don't even think about it, and it just comes out. And all of a sudden, because I can see him rolling his eyes. Oh, it's not going to kill you. It's going to make you stronger. Oh, build your character. God, it's funny. Like, it's funny when I don't laugh in front of him, but when he's gone, I just think, I remember that being a kid, and your parents would say stuff. Now, when you're a child, but it's true. But you just don't like hearing it as a kid. I totally understand it, but it's comical when you start saying it. It's quite funny. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, was born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. And due to his disability, he was unable to be live on radio until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
The sign, the one nestled between the staircases on the west side of Remax Field, has a word on it that often gets a bad rap. But in this context, it's a beautiful, essential word, a compass, if you will, for the Edmonton Riverhawks. It's the F word. Last night, as the rain poured down and the season came to a heartbreaking end, it was easy to get caught up in the final score. The 5-2 loss to the Bellingham Bulls in the North Championship was tough. The lead slipped away just as the heavens opened, and now the two most challenging words in sports hang in the air: next year. But for a moment, let's leave the on-field product aside. Anyone who has spent even a single inning at a Riverhawks game, and you, Connor Halley, know this, has felt the incredible energy. It's a party. It's the music, the antics between innings, the pure joy of it all. The Riverhawks have created something special, a success story in the world of summer collegiate baseball. This success naturally leads to a new question. What's next? The temptation to reach for a higher level to chase a professional club is real. But with that step comes a necessary question, one that goes back to that sign at Remax Field. If the team were to go to a higher level, would that F word be compromised? Would the magic, the atmosphere, and the joy that make these games so special get lost in the pursuit of something bigger? The Riverhawks have built something precious. They've proven that success isn't just about wins and losses. It's about community, connection, and creating a space where people can simply have a good time. That F word isn't a curse, it's a promise. And it's the heart of everything they've accomplished. As they look to the future, I hope they never forget what truly makes them special. That's the most important F word of all. Fun 2-minute warning. Gregor's Show, Connor's Board, Tate's Typewriter, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sports 1440.
I love the fact Tate's Typewriter. I'm not typing on a typewriter anymore, Tater. I wish you did, though. That'd be unbelievable. He's got his souped up laptop, but I can imagine, a young Tater was hammering it out on the old typewriter. Would have been a little bit of a challenge, but he did it. So, it is a great success story. I know that obviously right now the team is a little disheartened. They wanted to win. Right, they want to keep the season going. They've been playing spectacular, so I understand that. And for fans, like it's always nice when you leave the stadium. It was the last time this year, win or lose, but you would like to leave on a high note. I know some people left a little bit early, unfortunately, due to the rain. And you know what? It's been wet this summer, but the Riverhawks, for the most part, you know what? Lots of the weeks when it was raining, they were on the road, so they've had overall. I think 1.5 games, maybe. I'd have to ask Steve for exact on that, but it's been, overall from a weather standpoint, it's been pretty good in that regard, which is nice to see. So, they'll be back. To chase another league, it's hard because I've had this conversation, like, which league, right? Where do you go? And if you're having success in what you're doing, where you're at. Sometimes bigger isn't always better. It depends. So, and right now it'd be a challenge on, which league you're going to go to, right? A lot of it comes down to geography, right? Like the Edmonton Trappers. I know people got upset, when they got sold originally and selling them out. But the truth of the matter is without Calgary in the league and they didn't have the facility that Edmonton has, MLB teams didn't want a AAA team. That where you would go on a road trip and you would go to Edmonton and that's it. It wasn't feasible anymore, unfortunately. But Riverhawks, it's good. It's a lot of fun. Hey, Gregs, did you guys happen to see the U.S. versus Germany game today? USA player took a shot after the whistle and the ref made him apologize to the goalie. I love it from Husks. I did not see that. So what? Now, he probably said something like, what are you doing? I don't know, but can you make someone apologize? Like, you know how it is as a parent. Can you apologize? And sorry. Like, no, that wasn't good enough. Could you imagine? No, say it like you mean it. We've all done that. So it was good. Hey guys, from a fantasy football standpoint, do you draft Puka or Devontae as the wide receiver choice from the Rams? Oh, I think it's Puka Nacua. Cons?
Yeah, I would think so. Just the chemistry that he's had with Matthew Stafford the last couple of years, I would think that's the way to go. Stafford, I think, was targeting him a lot more than Cooper Kupp as well last year. I think Devontae is going to make his plays. You're probably going to want to have both of them on your team just in case they pop off. But if I'm taking one or the other, yeah, I'm going to go with Puka Nacua this time. He's so good at like finding spots in the defense where he just kind of sits, and with an elite quarterback like Stafford, he's going to find him. That'd be a safer pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, both could be good options. Right? What about Williams?
Kyron Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked him in the past. I had him on my team. I think it was 2 years ago. Last year, he's good in close, like always going to be a threat to get the ball inside the red zone. So I think he's always a good option for that. Yeah, I would certainly be looking at him. Probably not going to be one of those top end guys, but if you had him in your flex or someone you pull off the bench for a bye week, I think you could do a lot worse. Blake Corum going into year 2, his carries didn't really go too crazy. Like he would get 5 to 10 carries a game, and they just extended Kyron Williams and paid him a little bit more money. So I think he's a clear-cut number 1 back with the Rams. Corum, maybe they increase the workload just a little bit, but yeah, I think Kyron Williams still be a guy you could throw out there every once in a while.
Oh God, yeah, well, he should be all right. Like, isn't he going to get a lot of balls catching out of the backfield?
Well, I mean, we'll see, right? I think that was kind of an underrated trait he's had in the past, right? Where it hasn't been the thing that people might focus on, but I'll just bring up the numbers very quickly here. Receiving wise, 30, 34, so not a crazy amount.
Yeah, with his ability, I would use him more in that regard, right? Unless his hands are just that terrible.
Yeah, I mean, geez, they can work on that. Maybe Blake Corum is the guy that gets a few more of the looks when it comes to being the receiving back, but I just like him, to be honest with you, once you get inside the red zone. I know, bigger body guy can be very physical, of course, and you get close there. He's had 9 touchdowns 2 years ago, 6 last year.
Yeah. Not bad at all. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. A guy's Rams fan. Puka's the guy the Rams need help in the red zone, and they got Devontae to do that. So you think Devontae's going to be like the guy who allows Puka to get more opening, so they'll throw him to him more, or you think they're going to go to Adams more in the red zone?
Just quickly, apologies. I was looking at something else there. It was 14 touchdowns last year, 12 the year before. So Kyron Williams gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, that's where, with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams was an absolute stud, right? Runs crisp routes, probably some options in there, reads the defenses very well. Kind of similar to like Keenan Allen. Like, I don't think he's the best top end speed, but he creates so much separation at the top of those routes with the ability to run. So yeah, he's an absolute matchup problem in the red zone. You probably have to cover him. Maybe even have a second guy kind of hovering towards him. Could that open up Cooper Kupp though? Absolutely.
Oh, Puka, you mean?
Sorry, Puka. Yeah, he's in Seattle. Yeah, open up Puka, and hey, maybe even opens up the tight end position as well.
What do you make of Kupp in Seattle?
I am unsure because like Cooper Kupp, it was a few years ago he had that massive year, right?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Well, he had 17 touchdowns in 1 year. He's had 17 in the last 3 years combined.
Yeah. He's only been over 1,000 yards twice in his career. Triple Crown the 1 year where he absolutely lit it up. And then staying healthy has been a concern. I don't mind it. I think he's going to go in there and be wide receiver too. Jackson Smith-Njigba is ascending, in my opinion. I really liked him a couple years ago when he was drafted, and he's gotten better each of the last few years. Sam Darnold's the question for me, though. How's it going to go from having Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to a little bit of a decline there and how they get used? Yeah. I think red zone, like the Seahawks not afraid to go with either Kenneth Walker or Charbonnet, both guys who can kind of pound it in there. So I don't know what the touchdowns are going to be like, but I would expect probably a similar year to last year that he had with the Rams. If he can stay healthy, should probably push 800, 900 yards, but don't draft him thinking you're getting 2021 Cooper Kupp because he's not that guy anymore.
Yeah. Very, very fair. I think it's hard. What is he, 31? And football is still the one sport that there's a few guys, but man, it's hard. You get into your 30s and lots of guys just hit a wall in the NFL. Like it's still a little bit more obvious of a wall that you hit in the NFL than you do in the NHL and other leagues, just because of the physicality of the sport.
Yeah, and you said he's 32, so even a little bit older.
Okay,
yeah.
So he's even a year older. All right.
He was targeted quite a bit. Had 100 targets last year. Only brought in 67. So. Yeah, I've heard it before. They say when the hands start to go, that's an indication that the legs are going to be going soon too. So take that for what it's worth. I wouldn't be putting too much stock in Cooper Kupp. Maybe you draft him later on in your draft, but
I bet you he gets drafted earlier in a lot of leagues just because. And I can, because they're like, wow, you know what? Hey, Sam Darnold, look what he did. And they've got, Cooper only has to be the number 2 guy there, so he's not going to take a lot of double teams. I bet you he might. And you know what? It might turn out that's what's great about fantasy is none of us know for sure.
Yeah.
Right. It's all projection. But, there's others who study it way, way more intently. But he will. It'll be an interesting one to me to see kind of how he goes. I know you're going to get lots more into to fantasy here in the final few weeks of the year because many of you're starting planning for your draft, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of frustration for some people, depending on how it goes in fantasy. So whatever you do, hope you have fun with it. And we did have a lot of texts yesterday about punishment. How about this one? A group of guys, they sent me a text yesterday, Cons, we didn't get to it, that the loser in their fantasy draft has to go out and panhandle for $200. And they donate the $200 to charity, so that was good. But how long would it take? I don't have, what skills do you have? Right? So they're like, he goes out there on the one street and was banging drums. It took him 8 hours to get $200.
Where would you go if you were doing that?
Oh,
if I could go to an Oilers game, get outside the Oilers game, I'd try to do that.
Yeah. Now, can you have a sign, I lost for fantasy football, right? Donation to charity? Then it would probably go really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't allow the sign. That would make it too easy. Right? Because people, Albertans are incredibly generous. So if they're like, oh, okay, that's funny, guys will be laughing. They're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Here's, $10, in a span of 45 minutes, you could be done. So, yeah, that's a good question on A, where you'd go, and then B, what's your skill to busk?
What do you think about the Waffle House penalty? Have you heard that one?
So that's one where you sit in a Waffle House until you have to eat what?
It's 24 hours, but you can get an hour knocked off for every pancake you have or waffle.
Well, definitely not waffles. I'd have pancakes going to be way easier to eat. Waffles are thicker. Why would you do a waffle? So if you how many pancakes could I eat? I could easily eat. Now, I guess it depends. Are they the supersized ones or just a normal sized pancake?
Probably you got to be the big ones.
Because usually, when the odd time, I don't go out for brunch very often, but when I do, I love it. I'll save up, let's not go till 11. I'll eat dinner early the night before because I'm going there. I want to have a good brunch, and I can pound back 5 pretty easily then. And then, so that's in 1 hour. So now I'm automatically down to 19 hours.
Yeah.
And then I'd wait, and for lunch, I'd have another 5. So, you push that off, right? Now you're down to 9 hours because, by the time you've eaten 5 hours of rest. And so in the Waffle House, you just sit there and you're on your phone?
I think so. You just,
I would just bring a book. It wouldn't be that hard. I don't know. To me, it'd be so wait, you're telling me my punishment is I just could sit somewhere, drink a coffee. Well, I don't drink coffee, but have some water. Are people allowed to are you allowed to invite friends? Hey man, I'm sitting here. Why don't you come and visit me? Is that allowed? I don't know the rules. I'd have to, because if the rules were you could just sit somewhere and your friends could just periodically stop in during the day and visit with you, that wouldn't be that hard.
I don't think it'd be that hard in general. That's why I brought it up, because people do it, and I just think
I don't think that's very difficult at all.
Kind of sounds like a nice afternoon or nice way to spend a day.
Yeah, that's not really that hard of a punishment.
People that work at Waffle Houses or breakfast places are the best. So you just go be pleasant with them, have a bite to eat. My group's never done it because I think we deep down know it's just a bit of a cop-out punishment, and it's easy.
All right. I don't disagree with you. Not at all. So, yeah, I'd find that one pretty simple. When we come back, Spec's going to be a little bit earlier today because we have Chris Morris in studio at 5 o'clock. So Spec will join us next. But first, we'll get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Cattail Crossing. Early risers. This one's for you. Tee off bright and early and enjoy breakfast on them at Cattail Crossing. So $55 with the rise and dine. CattailCrossing.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Another busy day in the majors. Jays taking on the Cubs once again. First pitch, 5:07 from the Rogers Center. Kevin Gosling gets the call for the Jays. Cubbies will counter with Cade Thornton. Right now, a couple games underway. Padres beating up on the Giants 11-1 heading into the 8th inning. Rain delays in Baltimore and Reds have those games postponed. Later on, you got the Guardians, Marlins, Twins in New York taking on the Yankees, Mets host the Braves, Dodgers and Angels, and the Athletics up against the Rangers. Earlier on, Brewers knocked off the Pirates 12-5. The Royals fall into the Nationals 8-7. Rockies over the Cards 6-5. And the Diamondbacks get past the Rangers 6-4. Across the pond in Czechia, Punta Gretzky Cup today. Canada victorious, winning 5-0 over the host Czechs. You also had Sweden getting past Slovakia 7-0. U.S. beats up on Germany 8-1, and Finland falls to the Swiss 4-3 in the WNBA tonight. Starting at 5, the Sun hosts the Sky Valkyries in Washington to take on the Mystics. Aces up against the Liberty, and the Dream take on the Storm. In the CFL, Alouettes placing quarterback with 5, Bethel Thompson on the 6-game IL. And in the NFL, you have the Buffalo Bills and running back James Cook agreeing to a 4-year, $48 million deal, 30 of which is guaranteed. The 2-time Pro Bowler was the Bills' second-round selection in 2022. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and the last 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
CEBL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what
Day
we pay
afternoon,
on the
happy
Ford
hump
you
day.
want.
Getting you
Visit
over
your
that.
Alberta
The Gregor
Ford
Show
store
presented.
or Ford.ca today.
Summer. The sun's out, the road's calling. And
Just
your
like
car
you
said,
play.
Nope. Don't let your summer road trip turn into a roadside nap. Swing by Napa Auto Parts. Napa has the trusted tools, smarts, and quality parts for all your automotive needs this summer. Get your vehicle ready for the road and just in time for your kids to start testing your patience and sanity.
Are we there yet?
With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go. Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO. Visit park2go.ca. That's RADIO.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Show. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where Friday night down at Play Alberta Field, of course, the Elks will be hosting the Toronto Argonauts, and Cody Fajardo having himself quite a season, completing over 75% of his passes. Only two quarterbacks in CFL history have finished a year completing more than 75% of his passes. Now, they got to keep him upright. He can't be taking as many hits as he has lately. So the Elks are going to have to do a better job of protecting their quarterback. He has taken way too much punishment here in the last few weeks. O-line, got to dig in here. Get a few more blocks, make some better reads. It's just that simple. Otherwise, it'll be, you just end up, you risk having them get injured, which is obviously not ideal. So we'll see if they can tighten things up a little bit defensively. Now let's get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, specializing in underground infrastructure, and they are hiring. If you're looking for a great gig, go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. They love promoting from within. It's not a job; it'll be a career if you want it at GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us a little bit earlier. This is perfect for Spec. You can get off and go watch the Jays. But Spec, give me your thoughts on the Riverhawks last night.
Yeah, fun game. Would have liked to have seen for their sake, for them to win. But listen, I think I'm sure actually, they already had lost some players, right? Both teams had already lost guys who went back to school. So yes. It's a bit of a misnomer. You get the best two teams in the North Division standings playing in the final game, but somebody loses this guy, somebody loses that guy. It's time for that season to wrap up. It's a one-game series, so tons of fun. Rain delay. People still had a good time. About 1,500 people stayed through like an hour and a half of rain to watch the gripping conclusion. I was not one of them. But it was great. Great show, great time, great season. Real memorable thing. I was talking with Kevin this morning. What do you think, Jason? Does this success have to go somewhere? Does it have to go to a bigger league, to a affiliated ball? Or do you just stay with what you got and enjoy how well you're doing at the level you're at?
Well, I would ask you this, Spec. Do you go for the quality of ball or do you go for the experience? And I think most people go for the experience. So I don't think that, because the next level, unless you're getting AAA, I'm not sure that the next level up is so noticeably better that it's going to impress the fan base that much more. Because does your cost go up? And now you got to ask your paying customer to pay way more money to come to the game. Like, there's lots of factors. For me, I'm like, you've got a great thing going. They're starting to look, well, what higher isn't always better, especially because, first of all, which league could they get into that's even remotely close, that's even feasible financially?
Well, I guess I mean, and I hear everything you're saying, first thing I'd say to you is that Vancouver's in a single A league. And to me, that's affiliated ball. They're a single A team for the Toronto Blue Jays. So I guess I'm saying to you that's probably, if you're moving up into a bigger league, that's probably the one. I haven't done any research on how many games they play. Listen, if you move up, you get way more gates. So that's the good news. The bad news is you get a bunch of those gates earlier in the season when it might not be that warm. And you also get a lot more Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday gates that are harder to draw on, right? So more gates doesn't always mean more money.
Oh God, no. And then so, I'm just looking at Vancouver, as we speak, and I'm looking at their schedule, and like they start in early April, Spec. So that's a tough sell here in Edmonton.
And the Oilers are in the playoffs. So now you're going up against the playoffs.
But April ball, are you joking? Like,
well,
like
the
you know, have to
Trappers
be,
did it.
you're gonna. Well, I know they did it, but you're gonna want to be on the road a ton. And now, I guess when you're affiliated, that is going to lower your cost because obviously the Major League Baseball team is taking some of it, right? So there's
Yeah,
Tri-Cities,
but
Spokane, Eugene, Oregon is in that league. So there's actually not a lot of teams that I'm looking at their schedule. Like they play Tri-Cities, Spokane, Eugene, Everett, and one other team. Like it's not like there's only 6 teams in that league. So
what's the name of the league? And is that just the North Division?
It's MILB is what MILB.com. So I don't know what if that's the name of the league or not, but Tri-Cities would be the other one that's in there. So
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like none of those teams. When you're Edmonton, the problem is there's no bus games.
Yes.
You're not busing anywhere. But none of those teams are that far away. It's geographically, I could see that you could entertain that. I'd have to do a deeper dive and talk, saying to Kev, maybe someone should be talking to Hogle or Randy Gregg about what they're thinking, because they've done their homework and they know all the answers to this. And I guess I just ask you, Jay, do you have to get bigger and better? Can you ever just stay with what you have and be happy with it? That would be my question.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. It does come down to, I think you right now you have a really good price point that your fans they like. And with everything else continually going up for everybody, right? For people to look and say, man, I get some entertainment that isn't costing me an arm and a leg. And we like what they're doing. You could do a lot of the same. I would hope anyway, a lot of the same programs and contests and everything that you currently do, right? Like hopefully the league wouldn't have different rules. I have no idea on that stuff. Like minor league baseball is usually the best league when it comes to unique and fun, in-game entertainment. So I would hope they wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's probably a fair question. If it's single A and it's affiliation, you maybe, hey, I remember when that guy came here and played. It's possible, right? But it's not like it's AAA. Like AAA, you're the step there, man, and you have lots of guys who go through, right? Like single A, you might have, the odd guy potentially goes through, and if he's there, there's very few guys playing a full year of single A that then go to, like, they're getting pumped up. Like, you look at the Jays guy, he started in single A's, double A, now he's in AAA already. Like they get promoted pretty quickly if they're good.
Yeah, they always said that, listen, you got to be a really good ball player to play pro ball. Don't take this the wrong way. But they always said a lot of guys play single A ball. If you make it to double A ball, now you got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The real player, once you make it to double A, okay, now you're a player and maybe you're a big leaguer. But there's a lot of guys in single A who are never playing the big leagues, that's for sure. I guess our template here in Edmonton, I think we got to forget about the past. Like AAA we had a AAA team before anybody, and then before you knew it, Vancouver and Calgary were in, and I covered that for 5 years. I mean, the list of big league players, it's unbelievable. Hundreds of them came through here, and all kinds of them played for the Trappers. I think we need to let that go. I don't think we're going back to that place ever again, frankly. And I would even say to you, I'm not even sure this is a AAA park anymore when you look at some of the AAA parks that they have now. But who cares, man? Who cares? Like the Wimble, the ball they got right now is awesome. The quality of ball is very good. The entertainment value is unbelievable. And if you want to get bigger, maybe you have to, like, let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. We're having that conversation with Randy Gregg's money at this point. So I would say that he should have a say in this.
Yeah, I would think he would have a fairly big say in it. Yes.
I would think so.
If it ever came to fruition. And
yes.
Yeah, and I think you'd be curious on what the fans who go there, not the fans who go to one game a year, which they're still important, don't get me wrong, but the fans who go there all the time, because usually the fans who are going there all the time are the ones who are spending the most money, right? That's just the truth. So
listen, this is a good ball town. Edmonton was always a more stable baseball town than Vancouver and Calgary were back in the day.
It's a better sports city in general.
Yeah, it's just a more stable. It's been a better sports city, and I know. I covered AAA for 5 years. I watched the attendance. I went to those other parks. to this day, Vancouver hasn't built a new park. They finally poured a little bit of money into old Nat Bailey, but Nat Bailey is like the old John Ducey Park with a facelift, right?
Yes.
Calgary's, I don't even know if they have a park anymore, if that thing's fallen down. But Calgary, I've said this many times, for whatever reason, they could never keep up to Edmonton on stadiums, right?
No.
And they have, in baseball, they have not kept up to Edmonton in stadiums. Their baseball park is out of the 50s like McMahon. It's a train wreck. So Edmonton's on its own a little bit here. It's been a really good baseball town. And I guess what I'm trying to say to you, Jay, is I know that this team has a ton of support, a ton of season ticket holders. All those boxes are sold out. If they changed and went up a level, I'm here to tell you, I don't think there's anyone who would walk away from it. I think they'd still sell very, very well.
Okay. And it was entertaining, and it's a great season. Unfortunately, they didn't make it to the league final, which happens tomorrow in a one-gamer, but a very successful season for the Riverhawks. So kudos to them. The Elks are, you got the Stingers tomorrow night on the road in Calgary, and then you got the Elks at home on Friday. I was mentioning Cody Fajardo, his completion percentage is over 75. It's been very good, but he's been taking a ton of hits. The Elks did practice outside in the rain today, although it was intermittent. It was off and on. And, because I think, to me, I like that move. Just on the off chance, if it's going to rain at a home game, you want to, and it did rain the last home game, at some point you want to practice outside, just get mentally prepared for it in case you got to do it.
Well, it starts with footwear, right? It starts with footwear. Like, talk to Dwayne Mandrusiak. He would say to you, it's really valuable to have your team practice in the rain when possible on your own fields, just so you can figure out what cleat am I going to wear when it's raining and I'm playing at home. So start there. Listen, so it rains. These guys all played in the rain. It's not minus 30.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of rain. Like, you got to play football in the rain. I think you should jump at a chance to practice playing football in the rain, frankly, because you don't get a lot of chances up here to practice at it. Usually it's on a game day and guys are dropping the ball and slipping and falling. So absolutely. I think the coach makes a nice call having his team practice outside.
Speck wrote the article today about the Edmonton Oilers, and some areas that did surprise me. Got some of them from the NHL, but the Oilers, they're the only team in the NHL who has 4 defensemen who have scored at least 40 points once in the last 3 seasons, right? Bouchard's did it each one. Ekholm, Nurse, and Wallman have done it once. Colorado and Montreal have 3, and then there's half the league, 16 guys have 2. 11 teams have 1, and then Chicago and San Jose have none to start the season. So they can move the puck very well. And, they're guys who get a lot of points at even strength, because Bouchard was 6th, Nurse was 22nd, Wallman was 23rd, and Ekholm, even missing 16 games, was 41st. So they got 4 of the top 40 guys when it comes to, even strength scoring. And they did all of that despite having one of the worst shooting percentage. Like, 13, they led the league in shots on goal, but they didn't finish very well, right? So, their skill enhancement drills that Coach Knobloch and their skills coach Connor Halley are going to have are going to have this year, should, in theory, allow a few more of those chances to go in. But where I was maybe surprised, Beck, was the Oilers led the NHL in high danger chances created at 703, which is 8.7 per game. And they also allowed the fewest high danger chances against last year.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have thought that. That tells me that, they possess the puck probably more than anybody then, right? I'm going to say if you're first,
right
right? If you're first at both ends of the ice, you probably have the puck more than anyone else, and that's the team you want. I think they're well positioned, Jason. Today's game, the way the game is now, offense, like, we judge defensemen on their points now as much as we judge them on their ability to keep the puck out of their net. It's so important that, we're at a time when defensemen have to turn, get the puck, make a pass, make the right play. I think they're in a good spot. They got a ton of skill back there and guys who can defend some too. So, I saw a thing the other day. I don't remember who it was by. They had the Oilers defense in the top echelon in the league. I thought, boy, it's been a long time since anybody ever said that. So they got it. It's a good place to start. I guess I'd say to you, least high danger chances against it. Now, who's measuring these stats?
This is the NHL themselves. So trusting them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because there's lots of sites out there that they scrape a stats page or something. And no, this is the NHL department where they're pretty in depth in that, and the Oilers are quite good in both ends of they led the NHL actually in the best differential between high danger chances for and high danger chances shots.
Well.
So
they go to the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, right? So I guess sometimes the stats and the eye test meet each other right in the middle, don't they?
Well, the reason I wrote it is because a lot of people are like, oh, the Oilers, they're not that good defensively. And I'm like, sure, Bouchard will make a mistake every now and then people don't like, but he makes way more good plays than people think. And you can go look at Bouchard's shots against per 60 for a guy that plays that many minutes. He's not on the ice for many of those. His expected goals, his actual goals against. I think people think that he's the only top end defenseman who makes mistakes because that's who they watch. And I get it, but I can tell you there's lots of other guys. And when you dig into the numbers, the Oilers as a team, for all the flack that Bouchard and Nurse get, they're so terrible. I'm like, well, those guys are on the ice the most of anybody. So they can't be that bad if the team itself has the fewest high danger chances given up against.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, and frankly, Nurse is the one who tends to draw the assignment against, the other team's top line more often than Bouchard. Bouchard kind of goes on the ice more with his team's top lines, right?
Well, which is normally against the other team's top.
Which is normally against the other team's top lines. I guess my point is, let me rephrase that. Bouchard plays with McDavid a lot more than Nurse does.
Yes.
And when you play with McDavid, your team tends to have the puck. I get all that, but listen, I got no problem with Bouchard. I've been more of a Nurse fan. Yeah, everyone's got a problem with his salary. Yes, he makes a little bit too much money. He should be making 7, not 9.25. I get that. I'm here to tell you that no one disagrees on that fact. But Nurse is a good player. He's a good player, and he's an important part of this team. And I know he's the whipping boy, and I know there's guys in their car right now saying, "Oh man, you got to trade that guy." And he's a big part of what happens in that dressing room and on that team. He's been a leader for a long time. Maybe they move that salary one day, Jay. I'm not saying they don't. Maybe they decide that they just can't have 9.25 wrapped up in that player. If Bowman makes that decision and moves the player, then God bless him for it. That's his decision. But I'll take Nurse on my team every day, and I'd rather not have him at 9.25. If you give him to me at 7 or 7.25, I'll take him every day, every season.
Yeah. He probably at the time of his contract, I'd said, most people thought he was going to get 8, and most people were okay with that. And then everybody else went up. Werenski went to 9, Jones went to 9.5. Yep. And that just changed the market. And so we all know these $1 million overpaid, but I'm like, there's no salary cap in the playoffs. So just play well. I don't care what you make because the salary cap's irrelevant. Now, starting in 2 years, it won't be, but for now, salary cap, what you make is kind of irrelevant come to the playoff time. It's how well you play, which is how it should be.
I got to say, in the last 2 months, you and I have written a ton of articles, eh?
I've written a few, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't written any.
No, you haven't written any. Just speak for yourself here, buddy. I'm not mailing it in like you are. I'm doing a 4-hour show every day, writing articles. So yeah, you just sit and talk about yourself sitting having beers at the Riverhawks game while I'm researching till 1 a.m. to get an article up.
Yeah. It's like when you're standing next to Wayne Gretzky and you say, between the two of us, we've won 4 cups.
Yeah, exactly. We've written 30 articles this summer between the two of us, and Spec had one.
Yeah, we have. Oh, yeah. I like our production, Jay. Keep it up.
Awesome. Quickly, Spec. The Blue Jays. Speaking of records, 51-3 when they score 5 runs. They scored again last night. And hey, what about Dalton Varsho? Like, that guy's got 12 home runs in 32 games. That's like a 60 home run pace, man. Like the guy, because he's missed so many games, but he is absolutely killing it when he's in there for the Jays.
Well, I think this is how you win. Like you just stated about 4 areas of that ball team that are all going good. So you score 5 and you win. That tells me your pitching's good. It's not giving up 5. It tells me your bullpen is holding leads, right? 5's enough. I mean, 5, most nights 5 should be enough, but 51-3, that's incredible for 5 runs to win you games 51 out of 54 times. A guy like Varsho hasn't really been part of things that much because he's been hurt. But when he has been, oh my God, he's pounding it. And he's got to play. This guy's got to be your center fielder. So they have to there's some guys around this team that are going to. Now, I noticed to go off the topic, in September, it's not the old 40-man roster anymore, right?
Yeah,
In
you can only
September-
call up. I think you're only allowed to call up 2.
I think it's 1. I heard 1.
Oh, I thought it was 1 of each, 1 pitcher and 1 hitter.
Okay, that could be. I'm just talking position players. But the point is, there's going to be some decisions that have to get made because they got so many guys, that are helping here that maybe they didn't expect so much, right? I don't think
yes.
They didn't expect so much production out of a handful of these guys, and they're not all going to get to stay around when everybody's healthy. Springer might be coming back tonight, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He took BP and he looks like he's ready to go. So Springer plays, Varsho plays. That's 2 of your 3 outfield spots right there. Like La Perfido, I don't know how he stays around in this situation. A guy like Lucas, I mean, I guess
he's killing it. I think he's got to stay. He's been
Barger.
Right?
Barger's got to play.
Yeah, well, Barger, he'd be my third baseman, right?
Well, okay. Where's Ernie Clement going to play?
Well, see, I know there's Jimenez, but I'd play like Clement hit another huge home run last night. I'd play Clement at second base more often. They'll probably platoon it there a little bit, and that's going to be the guy. Like, he's played really well for the Jays, playing all the time due to injury, and so. What happens now? Now I know he's very good. I can't remember. He's really good against righties or really good against lefties, and he's terrible against the other one. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think he's struggling against lefties, but he's actually hit 2 home runs against righties lately, so that's a good sign. But yeah, like they got a lot of options. Like look at the guy they just brought in the trade from Mini, the first baseman. Well, he's the guy who might he's been DHing a little bit. Yeah, like he's been hitting really well too. But you bring Springer back in, who's crushing it. Like. They got a lot of guys, and even Schneider, when he gets in, does pretty well. So, yeah, they got a real deep bench. I'll say that.
They do. They got a deep bench. They got a lot of guys. Jimenez is a gold glove second baseman.
Yeah, he's really good defense.
Can't hit
worth a lick. But
well, listen, you gotta play defense too. There's a reason that 5 runs has been enough as many times as it has, because they're playing pretty good defense. So you can't completely disrespect the defensive side of the ball. It's important, particularly surrounded by that many bats. I probably want that Bichette Jimenez double play combination intact when I can. But either way, they're sure fun, and they sure don't. You sure don't turn the game off when the Jays are playing, man. Like they've got big cojones. They've got guys throughout their lineup that can knock it to the wall or over the wall. Their defense has been good. Their pitching's coming around. Their bullpen, they've got a little bit of inconsistency in there, but the closer came out last night, Hoffman, and closed it down, and I think it was a 5-1 game, but nonetheless got right through it in a hurry. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun September, October. That lead over Boston isn't getting smaller, right? They're in the middle of the summer here, and they're fighting off the Red Sox, and no one's catching them. It's still 4 games.
Yeah. No, it's well. And think about Hoffman and Speck. Like he walked 5 in that game. He'd walked 10 the whole year prior. Right. Like it was just a bad outing. And so I think
he comes up the next game and blows through it.
Yeah, I went 3 up, 3 down pretty easily. So it was good.
Yeah.
Speck, have a good one. Just like your summer, we'll let you off early. So
hey, say hi to Chris Morris. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Ask Chris Morris why the offensive lineman always ate those big Italian sub sandwiches from the Italian Center.
No, probably because they needed the calories, man.
Yeah, like it started with an offensive lineman like in the 80s or 70s.
Oh, and that was the tradition that they always went
there?
Yeah,
and it got passed down. Every time you went in that room back then, like when Chris Morris was playing, some guy was gnawing on one of those giant. And then at the Journal Sports Department, we were all eating them. They're good sandwiches.
Oh, they were good. They're massive too. Like
no find out the history on that. Maybe we can write another column.
Yeah, sure. No, get right on that. Yeah, thanks for the work project. I love it. It's always a great teammate, Mark Spector here on Sport 1440, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll take a quick break. We do have Chris Morris going to join us in studio at 5 o'clock today. A new initiative the Elks are doing off the field, which I think Elks fans are going to like. And we'll talk about on the field product, the patience necessary. He's into now kind of almost a year on the job since he took over as president and CEO. So we'll get to all that and more coming up at 5 o'clock here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So sit on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Centre on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Centre by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Work never gets done by standing around. You have to put your words into action. And that's exactly what GS Construction does every single day. Our priorities are safety first, quality second, efficiency third. GS Construction works hard. It's true. But first comes the care, the planning, and the people. Underground infrastructure isn't just about machines and trenches and some traffic inconveniences. It's about doing things right. Find out more on what we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's major public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring Tridem, tandem, and single-axle trucks with cab and chassis, day cabs and tractors, digger derricks, hydrovacs, man lifts, pickers, and refuse compactors. Info at maauctions.com.
There's something we need to talk about. Debt. It's an uncomfortable topic, but the truth is, most of us carry some form of debt, and we are ashamed to talk about it. My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Every day, people struggling with debt come to me for a solution. When you make that call, I'll listen to your story without judgment and will lead you to a debt-free future. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's major public unreserved equipment auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dumps, backhoes, dozers, drum and padfoot packers, excavators, graders, man lifts, motor scrapers, skid steers, pavers, turf mowers, wheel loaders, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games and concerts to see all upcoming bus events. Visit ontherocks.yeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.433 on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Welcome back to the show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. A little bit wet out there, but it's all right. Hey, we're all tough in Alberta. No big deal at all. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, lots of the college players we get here are already better than the Class A players. Some of these guys will go straight to double or even triple. Players have gone from the PCL straight to the majors from Talladega. Well, I totally agree with you. Like, I'll talk to Steve and Randy, but I know when I talked to them last time about it, like they were pretty happy in their league. And so, you know, I understand, hey, they're having a great success story. Well, why can't we just celebrate the success without always having to think there needs to be more all the time, right? Like, you can talk to any business owner out there who'd had a successful business. Things are going well, and then all of a sudden, oh, geez, we need another location. And then it created more headaches. And it never got to the same level. So there's sometimes, hey, we have lots of success stories of expansion too. Don't get me wrong, works out great. But to me, the Riverhawks, they keep building. Like, you know what? The great news is they didn't sell out every game. So they're looking to say, hey, that's our next step. We want to keep breaking the league record for attendance, right? That's their goal. You know, thankfully they didn't have any smoke issues this summer. That's obviously very nice. Like, there's lots of other factors when you throw in to play single A ball that starts in April. I don't think it's feasible, to be honest. Like, do you, because how many of you who go to the games in June and July and August love it are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go there in April. Plus 15. There might be the few odd game, but there's a lot of games where it's plus 6. Right? And it's like, oh, there's an Oiler playoff game on. Maybe I'd rather watch that. Or there's an NHL playoff game. Right? Lots of other things. So me, I kind of say, hey, you found a really good niche where you're at. You're crushing it. Keep crushing it. Right? Like, next year, try to break the attendance record again. To me, that would be awesome. Why not? So I wouldn't look to do it at all. So
excuse my ignorance on this, Gregor, but is this something we've seen before? Like, from a club level, hopping leagues, trying to take that next step up? Like,
well, not in Edmonton per se, but like other places. And I get it. Like, there are some minor ball teams that go from, you know, and then they want to build up and try to go. It depends a little bit on geography, right? But you need a, like, you can't just say, hey, we want to jump up a league. You need a league to jump up to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with all the teams in that single A league, like, you need first of all, I have to look, is there another MLB team who doesn't have a single A affiliate? I'm going to guess no. Now, maybe they're not having success, so they'd want to move it and relocate it, but that's what you do, right? Like, I can't think of any MLB team who doesn't have their own single A team right now. So that would be part of it, right? You just doing a simple business about it. Like, I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think there's a MLB team that doesn't have a single A team. So, hey guys, did you see the article? The NHL just listed their top defenseman, and Evan Bouchard was listed 12th. What do you guys, or 10th? What do you guys think? What do you think Oiler fans are going to think? Some will love it, some will hate it. Cons, did you see that article?
I saw the post, and then last year he was 9. I think there's a few people around our city that probably need to take a look at that and say, oh, outside of Edmonton, he's viewed as a top 10 defenseman. It might be 9, it might be 10, but nonetheless, a top 10 defenseman in Evan Bouchard.
Well, he's played like one, so
yeah,
he's played like one. Like, look at Evan Bouchard in the postseason last year. He's absolutely killed it. And the built-in security blanket of Matthias Ekholm, that was gone. Right? He wasn't around for the first 3 rounds, and Bouchard was damn good. So, you know, he had one game where he didn't like, but really the whole team stunk. In game 1 and 2, like, Connor McDavid had a great third period, game 1. But really, that was it. Game 2, the whole team was flat. Game 1, up until the third period, and outside of really McDavid himself, team didn't do much. They just had 2 dud games. And Bouchard was part of that. But after that, man, I thought he had an excellent postseason. Again, 3 years in a row. Like, he's the thing that I find interesting is that you want players who can elevate their game. For a team that's going for a Stanley Cup, don't you want a guy like Evan Bouchard, who has proven not once, not twice, but 3 times he can elevate his play in the playoffs? If you get that upset about an October, November, December giveaway or turnover, or you don't love his back check, you might be focusing on the wrong thing. Just me. So I think, hey, Bouchard, of course, you'd love a perfect player. He's not a perfect player. He doesn't have to be a perfect player, but he's pretty darn good. And come playoff time, I don't see anybody complaining about us playing the postseason when it matters most. And he plays pretty darn good. Like, he had a quote down year and was still fifth or 6th in NHL scoring amongst defensemen, right? Was a plus player at 5-on-5 goals, 4 goals against. Like, his down year was still better than a lot of other teams' best defenseman's good year. So there you go. Hey, guys, I think it's great that the Elks practice outside. New England used to practice with wet footballs if they were going on the road and it was probably going to rain. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Why not? Like, you just get used to the environment that you're going to be in. It makes you more comfortable. It takes out that maybe mental excuse of, geez, I'm not prepared for this. Right? What's Lorianne Munzer always say? Hey, preparation allows you to relax. You do the prep, whether it's a public speaking event, right? It's wedding season. Some of you, maybe you got to say a toast at the wedding. You rehearse it a few times. You still might be nervous, right? You got to pull a Struds and stop in and, crush a few Ryan Cokes before the thing. Don't do too many though. And then away you go. And if you prepared it, you'll be infinitely better because you're prepared. You try to wing it, unless you're like a professional public speaker. And even then, I've seen some people crash and burn, man. Lack of preparation is infinitely more noticeable than preparation is. That's what I can tell you. So,
classic Ray Lewis line. This is football. It's supposed to hurt. When they forced the Ravens to go practice inside when it was raining. He's like, we're in here when it's raining. We're in here when it's too hot. It's not football. It's supposed to hurt. It's going to make us soft. So I loved it.
Yeah, well, different mentality for sure. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions, and then Chris Morris will join us in studio. It's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca live, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, and Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy for comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's the Bricks Great Canadian Staycation Sale. Score hot summer savings like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and free local delivery on outdoor furniture purchases of $4.99 or more. Save 60% off genuine leather and reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Plus, save up to 20% off dining and bedroom furniture. Get up to $400 off big screen TVs and buy more, save more, up to $1,000 off select major appliances. The Brick, saving you more.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's major public unreserved equipment auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. Featuring articulated dumps, backhoes, dozers, drum and padfoot packers, excavators, graders, man lifts, motor scrapers, skid steers, pavers, turf mowers, wheel loaders, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Mr. Allen Auctioneering's next major public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major unreserved auction events include multiple auction lanes, selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
I'm still living with your ghost. Lonely.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth EE football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.445. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As we make our way through a Wednesday afternoon. Lots, of course, on the sporting docket, of course, tonight. You have the Jays and the Cubbies again. Then they have an afternoon game tomorrow. You got the Stingers in Calgary tomorrow for a playoff game. The Elks at home on Friday night. You got NFL preseason going on. You got some golf. F1 and another break. I don't think they're back until like the end of the month. So kind of a weird stretch for them. But man, they've really extended their season by like 3-week breaks continually. Anyway, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and the Great Canadian Staycation Sale. And get ready back to class with desks starting at only $99. Just don't tell the kids, but be good for you. You can get fabric queen size beds for starting at only $299, and you can save $200 right now on a 65-inch LG Smart TV and get one for only $699 at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, some good news to start with. As NASCAR says, they have no plans to limit driver celebrations after the aftermath of Xfinity driver Connor Halley's fall in victory lane, which did lead to a broken collarbone. I don't know if you saw it. It was I don't know what he was trying to do. Anyways, with that being said, who do you think was or had the best celebration in sports?
Oh, man. Well, I do like, come on. Thankfully, the last thing we need to do is overreact. Okay, the one guy had made a wrong decision, and guess what? The only person that got injured here was himself, right? What he word? He kind of jumped out of his car.
It's kind of funny.
It didn't. He was excited and he just kind of fell out of it. I don't know what happened, but that's unfortunate. Who had the best celebration? Oh God, that's. Well, I don't know if it was this. I don't know if this falls into your category, Cons, but I thought Alex Ovechkin's 3-week run of celebrating the cup
I'm going to count it.
Was pretty epic for Washington lately. That's one that stands out for me.
For one-time Selly, Teemu Selanne taking the glove off and shooting it.
A great one, yes.
That was unbelievable. And I always liked LT's layup when there was an easy touchdown, kind of hand behind the head, just flick the ball off. That was a good one, but there's so many good ones. And then just on the topic of NASCAR, Carl Edwards doing the backflip, we can't get rid of celebrating in NASCAR. It barely happens. They got to do it more. So I'm glad that nothing came down from that one. Question number 2. We are halfway through our NFC West preview when it comes to the NFL. Who do you think wins the division, and how does the rest of it play out?
Okay, you go ahead first.
I'm going to take the Niners to win the division. That schedule they have is quite easy. I think 2 tough games outside of the division. So if they can go 50-50 in the division, and then the rest of the season, I think they could have a pretty good season. That being said, got to stay healthy. Followed by the Rams, Seahawks, and Cards.
You have the Cardinals last. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where we're very different. I think the Cardinals are going to take a big step this year. So I'm going to say the 49ers, then the Cardinals, then the Rams, because I think Matt Stafford's back is not going to hold up. And sorry, Hawks fans. Somebody's got to finish in the basement, so I had to pick them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a competitive division.
Yes.
But yeah, I can see it going a bunch of different ways. Cards can be inconsistent. If Matthew Stafford doesn't stay healthy, it's not going to be good. So I do like the Niners, though, to win it. Now, question number 3 for you. It was on this day in 2008. Michael Phelps won 3 gold medals in the pool at the Beijing Games. Is that the greatest single day for an athlete in sports history?
Well, it's hard to beat 3 gold medals in one day. Like, there's not many sports, though, that allow it, right? Like, because some of his races were like, 2 minutes, right? 1.5 minutes. So, if you time, like, I'd love to know, what was his total time in the pool? It's probably less than 10 minutes, right? So, but yeah, I guess if you're looking at just pure, it's hard to beat that. Because a lot of other sports, like, there's only one championship. So, and even a lot of other Olympic sports, there's very few that are like multiple days. So, yeah, I guess by process of elimination, I guess I would go with that. But trying to think of like what would be like. I think, man, like you do an ultra marathon and some of those events, like that is much more physically taxing for sure. Just doesn't get the notoriety, I would say.
Yeah, kind of disagree with you. I mean, that's just the circumstances, like you said, being in an event or a sport where you can do the different styles. I guess if someone won a couple goals on a track day, if the schedule lined up, that'd be good too. But no, Michael Phelps, have a day, 3 gold medals. It's pretty impressive. Question number 4 for you. BMW Championship gets going tomorrow in Maryland. Who is your pick to win it all?
Go ahead.
Scotty Scheffler. No, I won't go with that one. That's unfair at this point. His odds are ridiculous, like plus 225 to win an event. I'll go a little bit further down the line, and I'll take Ludwig Oberg to win it all.
Ludwig. Okay.
Not the biggest long shot, but not Scheffler.
You know what? I'm going to go really off. Well, I guess because he's never won. He's due at some point. I'm going Tommy Fleetwood. So,
all right.
For my first ever PGA Championship victory.
So Tommy Fleetwood plus 2,000, Oberg plus 2,200. So we're right in the category there of expectations, I suppose. Now, a final question for you today. Looking back at history, many times the San Diego Comic-Con has began on this day. So my question to you is, Gregor, if you had the opportunity, would you go to San Diego's Comic-Con or a similar type of event?
No. Not a huge comic book. Like, I love Calvin and Hobbes. I'm not sure that would really qualify for Comic-Con. I don't even think that's more of a book than an actual comic, so that doesn't even qualify. So right away, I'm outing myself for, my lack of Comic-Con expertise. The only reason I'd want to go was to dress up in a cool outfit, but I'd have no interest when I got there. So no, I would feel like a fraud. It would be easy to expose me at Comic-Con for knowing absolutely nothing. So I would leave it to the true Comic-Coners, because I'm guessing like there's a limit on who can get in, right? Not it's not like it's anybody can go, can they? Like, there's got to be, I would think, a capacity. So
yeah,
I wouldn't want to waste someone's spot, because for me to go to waste it for someone who would want to go, it wouldn't be good. So I would be passing on Comic-Con.
Yeah, like a similar event, probably not, because we've had the comic conventions in Edmonton and I've never gone down. So clearly I'm not that enticed. If I was in San Diego and had tickets, I think I would go. And it'd be, like you say, dress up. And even though I probably don't deserve to be there, you just walk around, people watch. They usually have what do they call it? Like a symposium where you're like going to see the cast of shows speak and do some people watching. I'd be down for that. But I think, it'd have to be the Super Bowl of Comic-Cons, and that would be the San Diego one. Other than that, no, I'm like you. probably wouldn't want to get out to it.
Well, I don't think I'd be fitting in. Like I've seen it on TV. I've read a few articles. Like I know Majot was huge Comic-Conner.
Yeah,
he loved it. MASH man. So he told me about it. And like you're there kind of with your peeps, or as like the kids say, like I felt it was my tribe. I don't think it would be my tribe. So
wouldn't feel comfortable there.
I don't know if I'd feel uncomfortable. I just wouldn't be able to grasp. Like I would see their excitement about something, and I'd kind of be like, what? Like I'd have to study a lot to even get to the most basic elementary level of understanding what it is. So, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I get it.
Gregor, dress up as Charlie Brown. I don't think Charlie Brown's the Comic-Con guy. Now, has any of our listeners gone to a Comic-Con? And we're like, give me a summary of what it would be like. I'd be curious. That's all.
Because if you're in San Diego, there's a lot to do there. Legoland, the zoo, Pacific Beach. You could go visit the Chargers' old headquarters. I don't know where Comic-Con ranks on the list.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be great for me, right? Just I don't think I would be, as I've said, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be my first choice. Not knocking it. I just don't think I would be going to Comic-Con. But I see the outfits sometimes. I give people a lot of credit. They're very creative. They get right into it. Like that's their thing, man. Like that's like their Super Bowl, right? That's their Stanley Cup. So, you go. Now I know some people aren't big sports fans, but they go to those events because they're like, man, it would be awesome. So maybe I should go, and I could just admit to everybody, like, I'm just here, man. I want to see all the, educate me. I guess I could go. It would be a learning experience for sure. So I would just decide, like, who could I dress up as? That would be the key. Because I definitely wouldn't go if I wasn't in like dress. That wouldn't be wise. And you'd really look like a clown, I think. So I have to find a good outfit to go in. That'd be a must. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Red Deer Resort and Casino. Give your kids a summer to remember. Bears, beds, and belly laughs. Book the Stay Wild package at Red Deer Resort and Casino today. Red Deer Resort and Casino.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Over in Czechia, the Hlinka Gretzky Cup rolling on. Canada once again victorious, knocking off the host 5-0. Also, Sweden over Slovakia 7-0. United States beats up on Germany 8-1, and Switzerland gets past the Finns 4-3. Major League Baseball, busy day as per usual. Jay's about to take on the Cubs. First pitch 10 minutes out in Toronto. You got the Reds, Phillies scoreless, as are the Braves and Mets. And the Yankees and Twins, a couple of those games dealing with some rain delay. Later on, Astros host the Red Sox, Dodgers and Anaheim, and the Athletics host the Rays. Finals from earlier today hit the Tigers getting past the White Sox 1-0. Brewers over the Pirates 12-5. Dodgers knocked off the Royals. Or Nationals over the Royals 8-7. And the Diamondbacks beat the Rangers 6-4. In the WNBA tonight, starting shortly, Sun hosts the Sky. Got the Valkyries in Washington. Liberty head to Vegas for a matchup with the Aces, and the Storm host the Dream. In the CFL, Montreal Alouettes placing quarterback McLeod Bethel-Thompson on the 6-game IL and signing quarterback Cameron Dukes, and the Buffalo Bills signing running back James Cook to a 4-year extension worth $48 million. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by 3-time Grey Cup champion and current Edmonton Elks president and CEO, Chris Morris. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember. The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Looking for a new home without the wait? Jandel Homes has stylish homes available for immediate delivery with modern finishes, smart layouts, and all the design details you love. Your new home can be on site and ready before you know it. Whether you're starting fresh or ready for an upgrade, we have options built for your lifestyle. Jandel Homes, where quality meets convenience. Start your next chapter with a move-in ready home from Jandel Homes. Learn more at jandelhomes.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through Wednesday afternoon. How are you? You've made it through hump day. It's all downhill from here in a good way. As tomorrow and then Friday, you've got big game. The Elks, of course, taking on the Toronto Argonauts. You got Stingers tomorrow night and on the road in Calgary. If you're a Jays fan, tonight against the Cubbies, and then a matinee tomorrow. Then they got the Texas Rangers. So lots going on in the sporting world. Golf fans, we're talking about the BMW Classic going on as well. Can Scotty Scheffler continue to roll? We'll see. So busy next few days in the sporting world. It's the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And get your tickets tonight for the Gold Ball Jackpot. Lotto 649, $38 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Time now to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies that will safely take you, your teep, your groom. You got a wedding, you got a big game. We'll take you there in style and comfort and safety. That's silentrides.ca. We are joined now by 3-time Grey Cup champion, and he's in his first year as CEO and president of the Edmonton Elks. Chris Morris joining us in studio, and he got the pleasure of driving in rush hour traffic to get here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that for a while. That was, I could see West Edmonton Mall for about 45 minutes.
So Chris, you ran the U of A department for obviously, like a decade. But now, it's pro ball and you're overseeing everything, coming up on almost a year now on the job. How's it been? You obviously know football and but you used to be a player. Now you're the president, the CEO. How's it gone?
Yeah, it's it's been really interesting just watching the dynamics of the organization and seeing, learning the business and you get there in November and you're, the budget for the next year is already kind of set and you're kind of a lot of things are in motion. So the big changes we made were around football. I think everybody saw, Ed came in and there's a bunch of foundational things I'm sure we'll talk about as we go through here. But my first year here is a lot of it's observation, a lot of it's seeing how we do business and like making sure that we're doing things the right way in the community and making sure that we're building something with a strong foundation. Like there's been a lot of dysfunction there. And I think at all levels, I think from the, the president's office all the way down to the players and everything, there's just been so much change and so much turmoil, right? So getting a sound foundation with people that, you can count on. We always talk about integrity and consistency, right? Like you get good people who, you can count on, and then you build with them. And I think that's the way to any sort of success. And that's the process we're in right now. There's lots of work to do, but we feel we're on a good path with some good people right now.
Yeah. And the results in the field, it's funny. Like you can have a lot of success behind the scenes. You're doing a lot of little things, but at the end of the day in pro sports, it comes down to what's happening, on the field. Right. Yeah. And now it does work part and parcel. When you win, your walk-up's a little bit better. It's just how it goes. And for Chris Morris, the football player who obviously was recently a coach, and so you obviously understand the game very well. I want to get your thoughts a little bit kind of on how you see your team, because from my vantage point, I look at the Elks and I see a team yet who still is, in a weird way, knows how to lose more than they know how to win. Is that fair?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're really, really young. Like we're the youngest team in the CFL. And I think the part that sometimes people lose a little bit is that we have one of the youngest staffs. If not, I think it is the youngest staff in the CFL as well. Like when Ed and I took over here, our emphasis was to build a foundation around people that we thought long-term were going to be very, very successful if they could stay together for a long period of time. And we have some really, really good players and some really, really good coaches that are young and learning how to do things the right way. And I look at Mark Killam, and I think he's already a great coach, but he's going to be tremendous in 2-3 years. He's going to be unbelievably good. And you look at our defense, and everybody's frustrated with our defense. Well, JC Sherritt is one of the most motivated. Like he is a tremendous person, and he's a really smart football guy. But if you thought he was going to come in and in year one of calling plays in the CFL just be the guy immediately, you don't really understand how this whole thing works. Like we're building a program here. We're building a franchise here. And I think building it the way we're doing it is a little bit different. We're not trying to piece it all together and try to win as many games as we can in this one year. We're looking to build it long-term to win, consistently for years. And it's been frustrating this year because I do think we have some good players. I think we're more talented than our record shows, but your record is who you are. And that's who we are right now. There's some things we're not doing at a right level, but I do feel we're on the right path with the football program. And I think Ed's got some really, really good people in place. And we talk every day about football. We talk every day about where we're strong and where we need to build and what we need to do going forward. A lot of it has to do with guys just playing together and meshing together and figuring that stuff out. Like it's, we've showed progress besides the one BC game at home. I think we showed steady progress all year this year. So if we continue doing that, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. And then that's fair. Like you look, your defense, definitely the last 3 games has gotten a lot better. You played the position of the O-line. When you have a few games where you're giving up that many sacks, as an O-lineman, you take pride in that. How do you, what's a conversation in the O-line room right now, do you think?
Yeah, it's they're struggling right now, and they know they're struggling. Like my office obviously overlooks the field. Like they're out there early every day. They're out there with their coach like an hour early, and they understand they're not playing where they want to be, and they're trying to correct that. It's never just one position. Like we have a couple guys that are playing below where they can, and that's kind of the way it is. Sometimes you go through a little spurt as a player where you're not quite playing the way you want to, right? But we're not protecting them. We're not running the ball a bunch. When we do run the ball, some things are happening that aren't great. So, and then all of a sudden you're throwing the ball every play. And there's not too many lines in the CFL where you can just throw the ball every play and not give up pressures and sacks and those sort of things. So it's a combination of things. I think we have a combination of some kids that they haven't played great. They can play much better, and I know they will. And also combined with the fact where we just haven't gotten much going in the run game, and then it cascades down to, okay, we're throwing every play and getting used to a new quarterback and where he's going to be. It all connects, right? I expect much better from that group. I know they're going to play much better, and I'm excited to watch them redeem themselves as the season goes on here, because I think we have some talent there.
And the defensive line, then we're going to get into the business side, but the D line is, you came in, a lot of expectations, not a lot of sacks, right? And I know that sacks are only one statistic, but, consistent pressure. And, there's been times where they've been there and they just can't take the guy down. And so what have you seen from the D-line overall?
Yeah, and, I think that they have won some reps one-on-one. We haven't won as many clean reps as we'd like. To get a sack, you got to win clean, and then you got to be athletic enough to make the tackle on the quarterback. And we've done we've had a couple sacks this year, but not where we thought we'd be. Robbie getting hurt us a little bit. He had the elbow, and he was just starting to get going when he hurt his elbow. And I think, you look at and again, I'm a coach, right? So I look at the secondary, and it's like the secondary's learning how to play, and they're a little soft at the beginning of the year, just playing off a little bit because they're young and they're trying to figure out how to be successful, and that it all kind of connects. And I truly feel as the season goes on and our secondary starts tightening up, and you get that extra half second to get to the quarterback, I think there's going to be a lot of success in that group. And again, those are every single guy on that team. Like when you watch them last week, they could have quit on that game 100 times. That was not a great performance. They did not play well, but they fought and fought and fought. And then in the end, they took the game away from someone. So that, to me, that's a very important attribute for a team. That's what you build around. And I think there's some technical things we need to get better at, and some X's and O's stuff and all that stuff. But that fight they have is very, very good. You could feel it. You could feel the togetherness with those guys. I think there's a lot of good things happening there. We got to win though, and they all understand that.
Yeah, and that's what was important. Hey, you might not have played your best game, but you won. Whereas the Hamilton game, you played really well, and you found a way to lose that game. So maybe it evens out sometimes over the course. And now you have an opportunity to win a game on Friday night at home, and you build some momentum. And who knows what happens? Maybe you win 3 in a row if you can beat Toronto and Ottawa, and then you go into Labor Day. And you got a new thing around Labor Day. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about that, because I think this is something that Elk fans, what I like about it is you've said this really clearly fits with your philosophy of building something long term. This isn't a one-off. This is going to become an annual event for Elks fans and business people that they want to participate in. So we'll get to that when we return. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And Chris Morris in studio for the rest of the hour.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
McDonald's Summer Drink Days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Edmonton Elks Country Night is back Friday, August 15th against Toronto. Presented by Coconut Cowboy Rub, featuring the EE Bull Riding Competition, country music all night long, plus a petting zoo and pony rides for the kids. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
Are you relying on credit cards to make ends meet? Are you making just the minimum payment and carrying a balance month after month? It's time to break free from the debt spiral and take control of your finances. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. During a free consultation, I can explain all your debt relief options and stop your credit card bills from piling up. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's major public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring Tridem, tandem, and single-axle trucks with cab and chassis, day cabs and tractors, digger derricks, hydrovacs, man lifts, pickers, and refuse compactors. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, alongside Chris Morris with us in studio today. That might have been a record for me, the earliest break ever. I read my time clock wrong, so probably people like, what the hell are we going to break for early? So that was my error. So Chris, it is good though, because coming up on the second half of the Labor Day rematch, which goes in Edmonton on Saturday, September 6th, you're starting what's hoped to be like an annual event.
Yeah, for us, like when we look at what we want to build with the franchise, right? A big part of it is really re-engaging with the community here, and we it's really been something we've struggled with, I think, as a franchise for the last 5-6 years, and this gives us the opportunity to run an event where we really are just running an event for someone else, and we're trying to rally the community around a cause that we think is very, very important, right? So, like, I'll go back a few months. A few months ago, I saw a post on social media about the Indigenous girls team, the National Indigenous girls team, and how they'd had their money somehow went missing, and they were not going to be able to go to the national tournament.
Steal it or something.
Yeah, something happened. I don't want to get into all that, but it went missing. So, and then I called Football Alberta, and I called Larry and Deb, and I'm like, we should do something to help this team. And Football Alberta was like, well, Chris, we're going to figure out a way to get these girls to the tournament, but like, we don't have money for this. We're just going to try to front it. And I said to them, I said, look, if you can do that, we'll run something. We want to run a fundraiser, and we don't want to run it for ourselves. Like in the past, the Elks have run fundraisers to sort of pay the bills and do all those different things. Like this one is for, and us going forward, the things we run are going to be to serve and to try to give back to the community. That group of young girls, they went to the tournament. They actually won the tournament. And Football Alberta just basically paid for them. And I know Tim Enger really well, and I know Jim Nerbaski. I've coached with him for years as well. And they were very, I guess, trusting to say that I would actually step up and actually do the work to get something together. And our whole organization has really rallied around this to try to create this fundraiser. So we have a fundraiser brunch that's going to happen on the morning of our Labor Day rematch. So that's generally our biggest gate game and our biggest game of the year, playing Calgary coming back from the Labor Day game. So we're going to do it at the Expo Center. There's going to be it's going to be like a tailgate type feel. There's going to be, the Spirit of Edmonton is going to be involved, and Sluice Juice, and a big party type atmosphere.
Okay.
We got Competition Chevrolet. Blair Polak from Competition Chevrolet's donated a truck for 2 years to auction off to try to raise some money for this as well. We got a bunch of sponsors on board as well. Sentinel Storage is the keynote sponsor. So we've got a lot of people involved. Now we're in the process of just selling tables and just getting more and more people there to have a big party there before the actual game. So we're in a good spot. Will it start? Starts at 11, I believe, and from there we have that event, and then we go into the game itself.
And the game's at 5.
The game's at 5.
So you got a lot of fun activities. So if it's Spirit of Edmonton, there'll be some, live music and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And for me, I wanted to create something that's an extension of the party of the game. Okay. So we're going to have some hot stoves, we're going to get some old stamps up there, and we're going to kibitz back and forth about the Labor Day and the Labor Day rematch game, some music, a lot of events designed to raise a little bit of money for these girls. Like it's to serve that group of girls who did such a great job. And it's also to have some fun before that game. Like we got to start building out the culture of that Labor Day rematch game. Yes. It can't just be the game itself. We want to add another layer to it.
Could have like a Ed Hervey, AJ Gass helmet throwing competition.
We could. We thought about that already. We thought about putting AJ up there and get somebody else from them, pick out who we wanted.
AJ was, I think, on the rematch in Edmonton in 1 year, and obviously Ed, we know what happened to him in Calgary at the Labor Day one. We've talked to Ed about that story many times. We can joke about it now; it's a long time ago. But the AJ Gas one, people still laugh about his because of, obviously takes the helmet off and chucks it down on the field. Like, it was kind of the height of the rivalry back then.
Yeah, there's nothing like it's funny because I haven't been around the league for a while. So when I go and I watch this now, and like after every game, there's like a dozen guys hugging each other because they're all on 1-year contracts. So they all play with each other.
Yeah.
Jason, we hated every guy on that team when we played again. We hated them all. Like there was no one talking to anybody after a game besides, you know what I mean? Very, very hostile language, right?
Yeah.
And I look at it now, and it's just different, right? And I think for us, we look at what we want to build here. Like, we want longer term. We want guys here their whole career, right? And so they feel that same sense of like loyalty and like the desire to beat another group of guys who are trying to do the same thing you are. I think that's a little bit lost right now in the league, just with all the number 1-year contracts, and I think to the detriment of the league. There's no.
I totally agree.
It's got to be a little personal. The game is just built that way. There's got to be a little bit of a personal tint to it. It sure was back then. And that's how we want to build our team. We want to make sure we have guys around for the fans for a long time. They get to know them. And those guys feel loyal to each other when they go up against another group of guys to play the game. So like, I think when you look at the guys that are coming to be part of the hot stove for the brunch, like we're kind of friends now, but not really. We're still just kind of, you know what I mean? It's like we talk and we get along. We're all adults, but I don't think any of us are really looking forward to,
There's not going to be a Moscow Cap event here, is there? Maybe?
Yeah, I'm not going to everybody's dinner in Calgary to sort of hang out. It's just not the way it is.
Yeah, and that's totally valid. I think that there is a part of that can be missed a little bit in sports. So for the tables, how can people, do they just go to the Elks website? How can you get involved?
Yeah, if they go to the Elks site, we have my admin assistant has sent out a bunch of resources for it as well. You can buy them right on our site. There's a link to our brunch for individual tickets for $225, and I think tables are $1,600 for a table of 8.
Okay.
And the nice part is, Expo's stepped up. Like they're basically giving us like a dinner for like $30 and a free everything else. So like out of the $225 you're paying for a ticket, like 200 of it's going right to the team for, you know what I mean? So it really is a good way. Pretty much every dollar you're spending at this thing is going right back to the girls, right back to Football Alberta to compensate them. We're hoping to raise that $75,000 as our target to get all the money back that they wanted. If we raise any more than that, then there's a couple of other causes we'd look at as well.
So this is something that you plan on doing every year, and then you're going to have a certain cause that you kind of decide, okay, this is what we're going to push and want to help out something different every year.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have a cause every year we want to support, and then we'll get them the rest of the money that we raise. Like, ideally, I'd like to build this up to a, 1,500 person event where there's we have a big party there. We raise some money for minor football. We have one major beneficiary, and then, the CDMFA or Football Alberta or another team that needs some help. Like I don't know, JP this year, I don't know, Jasper Place High School. Yeah. They've had a football team for a lot of years. They did an ad hoc renovation, and they found asbestos, and then they all their equipment had to be disposed of. So They had to replace all their equipment in 1 year. So there's always a bunch of stories of people who need help with the sport, and and having that sense of community, wanting to give that back and figure out ways to help them, I think is a big part of us.
Chris Morris joins us, CEO and president of the Edmonton Elks. And Chris, there's a fan base and people that are kind of impatient because like you inherit an organization, and when you inherit it and you come in, you kind of inherit the past, even though you had zero to do with it. Right. So how have you, because I read a quote the other day, like the past is just in our memory, and our memory a lot of times isn't as accurate as we think it is, and you can never change it. So you guys are focusing forward on where you want to be. Is it a challenge? Because while you focus forward, there's lots of people who still, but you haven't made the playoffs in this many years and stuff. Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, it's a massive challenge because people associate your brand and your team with either being positive or being negative. Like you look at the Riverhawks right now and everything's positive. Like it's like sunshine, lollipops, and unicorns, right? And it's like, well, it's a little bit different when you're coming from where we are, where you haven't been successful for so many years, right? And I think of the times where, I played and I looked into the stands, and that's what we were. We were 35,000 and everybody was having a great time and everybody was partying. And it's like, we're going to get there, but there's you can't, if you could just buy a team, like if Larry could just go out and buy all the best players, everybody in the NFL, you have teams in the NFL winning every year because there's certain owners who have more money than it. It doesn't work that way in sports. And if you try to do it that way, you're never ever going to build a high quality franchise, a quality team. You might build one that wins a few games, but it's hard to win a championship that way. And we're trying to build this right. Well, I said around the right type of people, and bringing Ed in was the first layer of that. And then the coaches we brought in associated with that are a big part of that. Now, we may not all be ready to go right now. We may not be exactly where we need to be to win a championship this year, but I promise you 80% of our roster is going to be the same next year. And we're just going to keep who do we need to get over the pump? Who do we need to get better? And it's not going to be this mass exodus every year where no one knows who's playing for our team. And the kids that are coming in have to learn how to play with each other year after year after year.
Yeah.
That is never happening again as long as I'm here. And it's the same with the coaches. Anybody who's thinking, oh my God, they're 2-6, what's going to happen? I'm telling you guys right now, unless I get hit by lightning, the staff's not going anywhere. The staff is going to grow and they're going to get better together, and they're going to, and they're going to work with Ed, and he's going to help them become a better staff. It's about continuity. And that's where our mindset is here. And that's where it's going to be. And I know how starving everybody in the city is to win right now. It's been a long time. It's going to happen. It's just, we just need a little bit of time. You got to give us a little time. And like you said, I don't have anything to do with what happened here before. I can't change any of that. All I can do is tell you that our approach going forward is sound, and that we will have success down the road here.
Building that continuity. The other one is I've read lots of stories about how Edmonton, BC, Toronto, they're looking and saying, okay, this is what our league's done, but we're going to have to make some changes to our league moving forward. Are you anticipating the next few years some changes? There's talk about Milt Stiegel. I had him on my show today, and him and I were like, you know what? I'm not sure the Rouge really matters that much at the end of the day. We've seen Major League Baseball, with the Jays games on behind us right now. That is a league that never changed anything. They got rid of they got rid of pitchers hitting, right? So now there's a DH in the NL, which is, people were like, oh my God, that's a major change. They changed their base pass distance. They changed they put in a time clock for the pitchers. Those are massive changes, and it's fine. Change is hard for a lot of people. Do you see the league? Is there going to be change? And is there some areas that you would like to see change in?
Yeah, I think there has been some significant change over the last few years. What makes the CFL brand of football special is the motion, and the fact that everybody can move around, and the fact that you can't. In the NFL, it's a very static game. They line up, it's a formation, you defend the formation, and you go forward. The CFL's formations change 3 times before the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
And that's what makes our league special. The passing game associated, the run game associated with that. Those are the things we need to maintain. The Rouge, some of the kicking rules, I'm not sure. I do understand the Rouge from my standpoint as an old coach. It's just a field position. It gives you a point for having successful field position. So you kick a field goal, but you still gained all that position. So the CFL game has always been one that rewards, your field position and how you defend that and how you go get it, right? If you change that rule, I don't think it fundamentally changes what we do in the CFL.
I totally agree.
It's motion. It's motion.
Yeah.
It's the way we can throw the ball. It's the way we can run the ball out of that motion. I'm telling you, Jason, I've coached American rules and Canadian rules, and it is so easy to coach the American game compared to the Canadian game. There's just so many things that change pre-snap. That's why the American kids take so long to figure this out, because in the States, before the ball is snapped, they know what's going to happen. In the Canadian game, 4 or 5 different things can change between when the quarterback comes up to the ball and when the ball is snapped. And you have to be really dynamic in the way you think and the way you see the game to play up here. And it takes some guys some time to figure it out. But to answer your question, you can change rules like that and it doesn't change the nature of the game. As long as we keep the motion, as long as we keep the pace, as long as we do those things, we're going to be just fine.
Yeah. And I agree with you. So that's one where, I don't think it would, it's not going to change the fabric of your game, because you're not I know a lot of people say, oh, go to 4 downs. I'm like, I would never do that. Right. Yeah. The CFL is unique at a 3-down game. The formation, I talked to players afterwards, especially defensive backs, and they're like, damn, I think it's harder to cover in the CFL because the receiver's got an advantage, right? He's got a clear advantage. And, the other one is football in general. They did put in the rule that you could put 2 quarterbacks on the field at once. Now, no one's done it yet, right? But it's like any invention. People are like, that's stupid, until someone does it. And then it's like, hey, but, because I've talked to coaches about it. They're like, well, what am I going to line him up as a receiver? And then maybe he gets hurt. I'm like, well, but what do you mean maybe he gets hurt? The guy stands in the pocket's got 300-pound guys frothing at the mouth trying to kill him every play. You get him on the outside in the corner, he's going up against a DB, he'd probably take that all day long.
Yeah. And I tell you, like, there's always big shifts in what happens with football. There's always like tempo was the last one. Everybody started going no huddle. Down south, they started running some of the CFL stuff down in the NCAA. You know, there are going to be changes. Coaches are going to innovate. Like right now, the CFL to me is stuck in a little bit of a, we attack the low zone. We cut guys across. We take little pieces of offense.
Yes.
Like it's just a very methodical way of attacking the field.
Yes.
Right. And that'll change though, because that eventually teams will get really, really good at defending that. And then coaches will be like, okay, we're going deep again here. We got to attack that. We got to attack the over coverage again. So it always happens in phases. And I think those subtle rule changes give innovative, dynamic coaches the opportunity to say, okay, here we go. I'm going to do this differently than other people. Right. So,
and I like how you say innovative and dynamic. And as because guy who coached for a long time, I think you've played, you've coached, now you're in the CEO and president role. So you understand all the different elements and it's hard to be aggressive because I think right now there's a lot more like, you know, Milt Stegall, not to go back to him all the time, but he mentioned how, man, when we played, we went for it more often. Like there was more big play attempts, but you can't make big plays if you never attempt big plays.
Yeah. And that's that old adage of, well, we're going to take what they give us, right? It's like when you're coaching on a team and you're getting paid and you're like, man, I really want to keep my job. It's hard to sometimes take those risks you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Unless you see a real advantage to it. And that's where, like, if you look at league governance and you look at how, you know, how do we make this league better, right? You have to use rule changes and ways to open the game up as a weapon for doing that, right? And if this league has been better at that than anyone else, like the league is really, really, because of the motion and because of how much can happen pre-snap, there's a lot of cool things that can happen with the game, right? So those things are going to continue to go forward. And I just think it's the right offensive minds. Those guys have to take over, and then it becomes really hard on the defense for a while, and it just keeps going in those cycles, right? One side pushes the other.
What about the development from, you know, like obviously Canadians play a big role in the league, and, you know, there's the American leagues, there's all these other leagues that pop up, but none of them ever seem to last, really, funny enough. And so, you know, there'll be, oh, geez, we're going to lose some players, you know, to the Arena League and stuff like that. And now the new league, but I'm not sure that league's even going to last or not, but we'll see. But the Canadian development, it seems like, and you just coaching it seems like there's better Canadians across the board than there was even 10, 15 years ago. And a lot of people tell me it's because they just think coaching at the amateur levels is better. At the junior levels, you know, and in youth sport level, it's better. You agree with that?
100%. Jason, there used to be, when I played university football, there was like 3 coaches on our staff. When you go to a lot of Canadian schools right now, there's 2, 3, 4 coaches on staff. The top programs who can raise money have 7 or 8 coaches, and the players are coached at a level like, I felt at U of A when we had enough money, when we were doing things the right, like we were being coached as well as any professional team. We had guys that were being coached on every single play. We could work on situations, we could work on scenarios, and that's happening all across Canada. That's happening at University of Saskatchewan, University of Alberta, Laval, Western. They have full staffs and they work year round to be better at football. When I was at U of T, there was like 5 of us that worked out in the off season. Like, and we were a pretty good team. You know what I mean? Like it was like, but now everybody, at 6 a.m., the whole team's there working out. It's an NCAA based model, right?
Yeah.
So there's way better talent coming out of Canada than ever before. I think what's tricky now is the NFL's expanded some of their practice rosters. So that becomes where now they keep some guys down there and they make really good money down there on the practice roster.
Yeah.
So it just limits the number of guys who come up here for a few years until, okay, I've exhausted all my options, and then they eventually come to the CFL. So to me, I think if there's any sort of bleed on the talent right now, that's what's happened.
Now, another thing going to practice is Chris Morris, CEO and president of the Elks, joins us. When you played, you know, you work part-time. And so they, you know, there was limits on practice time because of that, but there's not many guys doing that anymore, right? Like the salary's gone up, thankfully. There's not many guys working part-time. And there's been some people saying, hey, could there be an increase in not necessarily on-field pad time, because I know that the PA is never going to get that, and I totally agree, but more like mental reps where you can have walkthroughs, like where you're practicing, but it's because some guys will sit in the room, and I'm sure you had teammates, they listen to the coach, and the coach says, okay, we're doing this, and some guys, they're drawn out. They're like, I need to see it. I need to walk through it and literally be like, okay, on this pass play, you're going here, and we're walking through it. Is that ever something that do you think the PA, is there an appetite to have increased practice time?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because during the year right now, like I get there early players start getting there at like 7:30.
Yeah.
And then they're on the field and they do lots of stuff already. So the day is way longer than it was when I played. And the season itself, I think, is very comparable to what they do in the NFL. It's the off season. It's the OTAs. It's the mini camps. It's the off season development programming that they have done in the NFL, which we don't have here. And it's like our salaries are almost getting to the point where we could have that with players. We'd have to work with the Players Association. We'd have to look at what that is. But having 2 or 3 mini camps during the off season, that would go miles to increase the product on the field. But I'll tell you that, Jason, the product on the field, like if you look at all the measurables as far as like what's entertainment in football, like we get this big report every week to measure all that.
Yeah.
And it's off the charts good right now. Like even our TV ratings, like we're like the CFL, like you look at the stands and you're like, man, it looks like it's not doing very well. Our TV, we have the top 4 broadcasts on TSN last. Like it's like we're doing really, really well in a lot of ways. It's just, I think we got to reinvent a little bit. And that's one of our biggest points. We got to reinvent the fan experience in the stadium. Like we got to figure out a way to make people be able to do multiple things rather than just watch the football game. And that's, I think some places have done a really, really good job with that. They've added other elements to entertainment.
Like Winnipeg?
Winnipeg's done a great job with that. I think Winnipeg, but there's some pretty hardcore football fans. And being in the last 5 Grey Cups helps too. Like there's a few things, but
100%.
I'll tell you, it's striking when you go to Winnipeg how well they execute their game day. And that's where we're working every day to try to get to that level. We have a lot of good things going, but I think we can do more. And that's that. I think the assessment of us over the next few years is going to be how much can we improve? How much better can we make this place from a fan entertainment standpoint? And that's our objective. We talk about that every day as a staff. So,
and that's one where, you grow. Like obviously naturally it'll make it better if you have 25,000 fans in there for sure. And winning, like I saw it last year, you had 28,000 fans. There was a game because they won 3 or 4 in a row. And the fans come in, August, September, football fans. And trust me, you know what? If the team was winning, I think you'd have 25,000 fans right away. Because I firmly believe, and that's minimum. I firmly believe there's a really good football crowd still in Edmonton. Edmonton's always been a good sports community. I think there are people that some are hesitant, they're kind of like show me state, and that's okay. And I'm sure you feel that, but the interactive part of the crowd and doing things that are different from what you've done before. Like I know this is your first year and you can't change everything right away. So is much of your job this year about an evaluation process, saying, okay, I've got ideas, but I can't implement all of them and just, have a mudslide of ideas. I need to see who can be on page with our vision and what we want, and then how we can integrate more of it as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first year, anytime you go into something new, you have to watch a little bit. You have to, listen and watch, and there's certain ways to do business that I think are non-negotiable for me. And that's the way those things have to be done. There's lots of positive things happening in our organization from a fan experience standpoint, but there's also things that we could be way better at. Like you look at some of our seating in our premium spaces, like I look at we have an area there, Jackie Parker Lounge, and it's set up with like 10-person tables. It looks like an old Polish hall where people go for a wedding. And it's like, that's not, you need high tables. You need people to sit 2 or 3 people. It's like, there's lots to improve on, right? But until you see everything go through the first time, it's hard to make those changes, right? And I think there's lots of people on our staff who have been really, really anxious to make some significant changes. And the previous environment they worked in with the board there and the resources shrinking every year and the lack of ability to be innovative and the lack of ability to do things that were a little bit outside the box, to create like a nightclub type environment in sections of the stadium, and to change the seating. And it's when you have no money, those things are impossible. Well, Larry's willing to invest in some of those things, and Larry's willing to get the experience to where it needs to be, so that when the fans do come, they're like, man, this is way better. We made a few shifts this year, and we changed a few things, and we tried to do some things with concessions to make it more interesting for people. We changed to do some of our seating to help with people. But I think going into next year, that's when we're going to make some real changes, and that's where it's going to be like, okay, these things are really going to augment things. And if you're not winning, nothing is good.
Yeah.
You're just not, and that's the reality. We're in the business of pro football, which means winning football games. Yeah. So I'm very, very confident that we're on the right track to get to there, but we're not yet. So we have to improve that. And then the rest of it, it's almost like that's the catalyst for everything else to flourish, right? And until that happens, it's really hard to judge things and be objective.
Chris Morris joins us. We'll take our final break of the show. Got lots more to get to with the president and CEO of the Elks here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter connects with Gen Z.
I have 84 followers, as my niece would say. Slay.
No, that's cringe.
How do I get more?
You're a plumber. Make a skibbity toilet joke.
A skibbity what now?
Or make a fashion calendar full of super hot plumbers, plumbers with drip.
Young lady, I'd appreciate it if you'd stop acting so thirsty around my employees.
Burn, Uncle Mr. Rooter.
Slay.
For a plumber who cooks, call Mr. Rooter.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
Can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
It's the Brick's Great Canadian Staycation Sale. Score hot summer savings like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and free local delivery on outdoor furniture purchases of $4.99 or more. Save 60% off genuine leather and reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Plus, save up to 20% off dining and bedroom furniture. Get up to $400 off big screen TVs and buy more, save more. Up to $1,000 off select major appliances. The Brick, saving you more.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Mitchell Allen Auctioneering's next major public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major unreserved auction events include multiple auction lanes, selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions and project, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
President CEO of the Green and Gold, Chris Morris, joins us here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. I do want to address it once just because we have people, and there's so many people, Chris, I'm sure you get it all the time. There's people who actually believe that if you change the name back to Eskimos, that suddenly the crowds would fill up.
Yeah. And it's funny because the name changes comes up a lot. And I played for the Edmonton Eskimos for 14 years. We had a lot of pride in the organization. The fans had a lot of pride in the organization. And I relate more than people could understand about the name change and how that hurts some people. And I think it's really, really important that you respect that legacy that this team has, but you got to move on.
Yes.
And it's this team needs to win. This team needs to find its own identity. This team needs to forge its own Like what happened in the 80s and the 90s or when I play, none of that matters. These guys need to figure out how to win themselves, right? And that's when you win in football, when you win in sports in Edmonton, people will come watch you. It doesn't matter what you could call us, whatever you want, man. If we're not winning games, it's not going to come together for us. So we're going to focus on winning and building something that wins. And then I think that needs to be our focus right now.
Yeah. Looking at kind of overview as the president and CEO of a team, which is obviously still different, although at the U of A, you're the head coach, but you're doing lots of different roles at the same time. And you go into the league meetings, right? So you'll meet at a league directive, and you mentioned the OTAs. How serious, how close do you think that is? Maybe only start with one, but how realistic do you think that could be?
Yeah, well, they used to go down to Florida to do mini camps, with the passing game, right? It's tough in Canada because you need an indoor facility to be able to do something like that. Now, there's more and more of those indoor facilities now. I think it is feasible to say we could run something. That would be a long discussion with the Players Association. They would have to be on board for something like that. That group, they want to look after the players, make sure that they're, in a competitive spot, make sure they're healthy and all those different things. So I know there's a lot of compensation for those off-season programs that they do in the NFL. And that's, so you'd have to look at something like that. I just think the product would be well served by a little more time in the off-season on it. Whether even from a strength and conditioning standpoint, we have a full-time strength coach that works with us in the off season now. We've rebuilt our weight room. We're very hopeful that we have lots of guys hanging around off season this year.
And I was going to ask you, they can come in and train where it's not official, right? Yeah. And just do it together with this. And you provide them, say, hey, you don't have to pay for a trainer. You can use our strength and conditioning guy.
Absolutely. And that's why we built out our weight room. That's why we're going to do lots to try to find jobs for guys, make sure there's opportunities for them to be working here in the off season. We want them around here. We want them around our community. We want them serving the community. And we think we've done a really, really good job of setting some of those things up. So that's one of our biggest targets this year was to make sure we had a great spot for guys to spend the offseason in. And we think we're in a good spot there. So we're hoping they stay. The more that stay, the better we're going to be because they're going to build some of those connections. I'd love to take guys back out and start playing basketball against high school teams and start having some hockey games and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think we're that far away from that. I think we have a lot of guys that stay in town. I think we're going to have even more this year.
Do you remember, because you came from Toronto, you weren't from Edmonton when you were drafted by the Elks. What led to you staying year round?
Yeah, I got into teachers college here. So I applied to U of A and I became a teacher, and then I started teaching full time. So but there's always so much going on with the players here in the off season. We used to do all the community service stuff every year, and Shona Ward, she used to run all that stuff for us and send us out to these different places. I can't remember how many basketball games I played against different high schools and different, what I mean?
I remember it's people talk about having Giz and some of the other superstars. When you're a kid in junior high and stuff, he comes in and there's lots of guys, there's lots of athletes and they love basketball and they're dunking in the crowd, and people are like, damn, that was a big deal. There's so many of our listeners that will talk about, I remember when this guy came to our school and this guy, it was huge.
Yeah. And it's just the engagement. It's being present. It's being part of the community, right? It's so hard to build a relationship with your fans when you're just absent for 6 months. And our community liaison, Shelby Marchant's our community liaison, and she's a tremendous asset to our organization. She's done a lot of work to get a whole bunch of school visits, a whole bunch of hospital visits, engaging with the community. A really, really good job. Now it's up to us as a football organization to have more and more guys around. I'd love to have 3/4 of our team here the whole offseason and make it worth their while to be here. Have opportunities for them to work, have opportunities for them to do community service. That's what we want to build out here, because that's what it was when I played. I strongly feel the unity of those teams was built around, we played basketball. Ed and I are great friends. We used to play basketball every Sunday. We'd go to McNally with Rick Walters and just play basketball. I could play with a bunch of guys there and we'd freaking fight. And there was all kinds of stuff going on, right? I remember Ed and I were on the same team, and I just had knee surgery, and I didn't even want to play that day. I went to play it was 6 days since I had my scope. And then they got heated. So we actually were competing and I was limping and I freaking couldn't get back on defense one time. I remember Ed looking at me I was like, I can't even run right now. But that's how heated those games got. It was everybody wanted to win, right? Yeah. So, and that builds something with all, and we'd have 15, 20 guys there every time they were all guys from the team. So that's kind of what we want to build, right? And that's what we're hoping to sort of get going here.
Because I remember it was the Eskimo way, and players talked about it. Jed Roberts, Trent Brown, Daryl Mook, guys who came in, Sean Fleming, yourself, Ed Hervey, for years. It went from kind of generation, and then people said, well, it kind of got lost. And it's it's hard to build it back. So you must need some of your current guys to believe in your goal as an organization, right? So how do you get those guys to understand and become them to be the ones say, hey, Bob, maybe you should stay here with you. I'm staying here. How does that start?
Yeah, well, I think you bring in guys and you make sure they know that it's important to the organization that they be around in the offseason. Maybe not the entire offseason, but at least a portion of it. And that you're going to do things to make it so that it makes sense for them to be there in the offseason. Then they need to have some success together. So the group has to have some success. They have to feel like, these are my guys. These are the guys. We're going to win championships together. And then a lot of it happens organically. They start hanging out together. They start doing things together. They start being friends. They start wanting to not leave, right? And then you get more and more guys around. And that, for me, it was always a comforting thing to know that there were so many guys around town there's always stuff going on. There were always things we could do. And, I had a job. I worked as a teacher in the off season, so it was easy for me. But for a lot of guys, I can remember they'd get involved. Like the club would find community service jobs. And Jason, that's the great part about now is there's a huge section of our budget built out to create community service jobs for these guys. Larry wants to create more of those opportunities. We're looking at ways to build a community center near, like we're looking at Clark, and is there a way to dome it and create a spot there where the community could have a hub where our guys could like be around those kids from that community and sort of serve as mentors, run all those different. So that we're looking at all that, different ways to build out our capacity to serve the community in a way that keeps our players here and makes them part of our city, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want to build here. And that wins, champ. I'm telling you, you look at why does Winnipeg win? All those guys are in Winnipeg. They stay there all winter. All like Willie Jefferson, all those guys, they're in town there. Yeah. They're what we used to be. And it's like, we got to get back there. And it all starts with building that continuity. We haven't I like integrity and continuity. You have guys that you can count on that are good people that you can build around. They got to be good at football. Like, let's not fool ourselves, right? And then you keep them around long term and you build that continuity. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. That's what leads to success. It's when you get impatient and you start, we'll replace him. He had a bad game. We'll get him. Like, that's what kills you. And if that's your approach to building a team, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I know for a fact that Ed and I see that the exact same way. So that's why I'm very, very confident this is going to be successful.
Chris Morris with us. And the other thing it does, just from a pure business standpoint, is that sells jerseys. If a fan knows if I buy, Ty Ford's jersey number 30, he's going to stick around for some time. I'm buying Nick Anderson, Cody Fajardo, quarterback, Dunbar, Rankin, pick the name of the guy, offensive lineman, right? They say, hey, we know that Ivy's going to be here, a beard, etc. Like, obviously the local guy's got some family jerseys, great, but that's what builds it, is the fans know, hey, this guy's here. Not everybody's going to stay all the time, but you can have a base of guys and then you build a core, and then eventually some age out for sure. But some of those guys who age out, now they've got a full-time lifestyle and they stay in the community.
You got to have a bare minimum of 20 guys that are kind of untouchable. These guys they're great players. They're great in the community. They're going to be here. We're going to figure out everything we can do to make sure they're here. And then if you can build that out to 25 to 30, now you're really, really doing something special. And to me, that's what successful, if you look down the history of this league, successful teams have been able to build that core of players and make it bigger than 20, and I just don't think there's any substitute for that continuity and the relationship that those guys build as a team. Like, football's a tough sport, man. And if you don't have some connection with the guys you're playing with, it makes it really, really hard to be successful.
Yeah, no, 100%, right? You got, there's a trust there where that, what was it? Michael Strahan said, man, when I went around the room to get guys fired up, it was more so because when I looked them in the eye, are you ready to go? It was me telling them I'm ready to go. So you can trust that I'm going to give you everything I got.
Yeah. And it goes further than it goes right down to the organization, where it's like, if guys work their tails off and they're committed and they're good players, they got to know that we want to keep them here. They got to know that they will do anything we can to make sure they're part of this thing to build it going forward. It's not just the players, it's the organization. It's an exclusive club. You want to build a great team, then you have to have standards that are like, this is how we do things here. And it's not for everybody. Like, it's not for even the team we have right now. It's what we want to do here isn't for all the guys we have right now, but we're going to find guys over the next couple of years here. We're going to find guys that want to do this thing the right way, the way that we know is going to be successful. And when we build it, we feel very strongly that it's going to be successful.
Awesome. Chris, we got about 2 minutes left. So we'll circle back to the team and just kind of what's coming up again for the tickets. You can go to goelks.com if you're looking for the table for the Labor Day brunch. It's a first time this year. It's going to be fantastic. Anybody who's ever been to Spirit of Edmonton, it's kind of been like Spirit of Edmonton light a little bit with the sluice juice, and you got entertainment, and then it takes you right into the game at 5 o'clock. So it starts at 11. It's kind of like an all-dayer, and because then you can go over, if you got at your tailgate, well, then you just go over to the tailgate party, and it turns into like a 6-hour thing.
Yeah, and we have actually transportation over there. So we're going to have buses that go from the expo to the stadium and then bring people back to their cars. So we've got a nice setup there to make it for, like, if people want to indulge a little bit with some sluice juice, they can go to the game, take the bus over there. By the time they get back, they should be okay to, you know what I mean, to get home. So we think we got a nice thing set up for people to have a really good time.
And the other one people ask about, the school program, as you've talked about, that is something like that. They used to have it that schools would get the tickets for the Labor Day rematch. Something kind of like the school stopped handing it out more. Is that what happened?
Yeah, so we go more through the CDMFA now. We go through minor football to do a lot of that. So we hand out more tickets than we ever have. Like, it's a really, really nice community initiative that we have with the CDMFA and with that game. It's the one day all year where we open up the upper deck. So we have a section just for the CDMFA kids on that Labor Day rematch game.
Okay.
So we're excited for that. Like, we try to do everything we can to get young people into that stadium. We know that that's going to be our bread and butter down the road. We have to figure out a way to engage with that group.
No, it's important. Well, Chris, as always, man, great stuff. Love your enthusiasm, your excitement. Got lots of texts, lots of people excited about it. They want to get to the games and really believe in your long-term vision of creating continuity in an organization that hasn't had a lot of it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a coincidence that you have a lot of losing, you have a lack of continuity. It's just a vicious cycle. And you have to have the wherewithal to say, you know what, we might lose for a year, but we're going to win down the road, and we're not just going to keep changing.
Yeah, and I don't think we're even going to lose for a year. I think we're going to get better and better as this season goes on. Like, the one thing I just ask people, like, there is no group of people that are going to be more committed to getting this thing going than we are. We don't have anybody here who's just here to, I want this on my resume, or I want that. Like, everyone here wants this place to be great for this city. And I'm so confident that we have the right people in the building. It's going to happen. And I apologize to the fans that it's taken this long, but we're going to get this going.
Awesome stuff, Chris. We appreciate it, man. Good luck on Friday night.
Thanks very much.
There you go. That's Chris Morris, President and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy day in the majors. Jays once again taking on the Chicago Cubs. Right now, midway through the fourth, Jays trailing 1-0 elsewhere. Marlins on top of the Guardians by a score of 4-1. Got the Reds leading the Phillies 4-0, and the Astros have a 2-1 lead over the Red Sox in the third. Later tonight, Dodgers and Angels also race up against the Athletics. Over in Czechia, Canada victorious at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, winning over the host 5-0. Also, Sweden getting past Slovakia 7-0. The States over Germany 8-1, and Switzerland beats Finland 4-3. At the CFL, Montreal Alouettes placing quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson on the 6-game IL, signing quarterback Cameron Dukes, and the Bills getting a deal done with James Cook. 4 years, $48 million with $30 million guaranteed. In the WNBA, 2 games going on at halftime. Sun lead the Sky 44-28, and the Valkyries up on the Mystics 33-12 with 9 minutes left in the second. Later this evening, you got the Aces in Liberty and the Dream in Seattle. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next is Fox Sports Radio all night long. Local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. on the Kevin Carius Show. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray